There was a time in Supercross when the sport felt raw, gritty, less polished, more personal. And right in the middle of it all was Jeff Emig. He came up in an era where style mattered. Rivalries were real, the gear was loud, and the riders still had time to have some fun away from riding. Jeff's era in the sport was special. His amazing starts, standout style, and off-the-bike presence made him impossible to ignore. And of course, his iconic rivalry with Jeremy McGrath created moments Supercross fans will never forget, like the night Jeff ended Jeremy's near-perfect Supercross season.
To make a move on the final turn, it is Jeff Emig.
Shot a speed bag. There were multiple times that a picture of McGrath was on the wall, and I'm hitting a speed bag, and it's like, not this weekend, motherfucker.
And when the racing stopped, the voice took over. Behind the mic, Jeff helped bring the sport to life for a whole new generation of fans. From race wins and championships to the broadcast booth, Jeff Emig has lived every angle of the game. Gypsy Gang, welcome back the legend, Jeff Emig, to the podcast. Before we get into this episode of the podcast, we need to bring you a quick word from our sponsor, motorsport.com. I got a YZ450F that I got some upgrades to do. You know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to need some help with customer service, so I'm going to chat with a gearhead. This box showed up. It has a 2007 KTM master cylinder, a Yamaha caliper, also 2007, and a Turner braided brake lines. I feel like this is a very good upgrade for $600. Need the old hanger, so we're gonna put a bit of grease on that and get it back on, bolt her up. Caliper has been done. Now this can just get bolted on. Now, shout out to Kiefer, who I think stole this off Doug Dubark. That was easy. Nah, that was easy. This is a pretty epic upgrade. You can get OEM parts to build this little Frankenstein brake kit, or basically anything else for any brand by going to motorsport.com.
I met a gypsy.
Mate, how are you?
I am great.
Good to have you back.
I'm stoked to be back in the seat again.
Yeah.
I know I just hit you up on the social media and was like, hey, I got some opinions on some of these things that you guys are talking about. Let's do it. But
dude,
it's been
I
a couple
love
of
it.
years.
It has been, man. It's been, I was looking the other day. I did the podcast with you when I was in Dubai. So that was like...
Oh, yeah, you weren't here.
Yeah.
I was looking into the screen.
Yeah.
The magic of Gypsy Tales you've got. Like, you just don't
I wonder
know.
how many people even know now that that's how it was for like years.
Yeah, because you were either in Australia, Dubai, when you decided
Bali,
you were going to go over
like,
there, and that was the place to be, and now you're in Orange County. You go ride our local tracks. Where'd you ride today?
Pala.
Oh, I was there yesterday. It was so good.
Wait.
You know why it was great? Because none of the pro guys were riding.
Here. Yeah.
And
none
of
the
the AM
amateurs.
kids, none of the 250 kids. Just blah, 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 blah. It was so peaceful, and the track didn't really get rough. Oh, it was, I rode yesterday. I did some video stuff for with Tyler Buckingham for MX Locker. Some like product stuff we do.
Yeah.
And I rode two motos, and it was just like bliss. It was the flow state that you and the what was your guest?
Christian Glasgow.
Yeah. You guys got to the point about the flow state, and I was thinking about it yesterday, not knowing that I was going to watch that podcast, about why when I did this race at Farley Castle last weekend.
It was last week, right?
Yeah, I was just like all balled up. I rode like crap. Just didn't really have fun riding.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I'm like, I could do 45 minutes like this of just being in this state. And then I always try to think about when I'm riding. Granted, I'm 54 years old. I'm old. It's way past my pro career. But I always try.
Good Nick.
Yeah, I had a couple lucky races. But I always try to, even when I ride now, I try to think about, like, how would I describe this on a broadcast, right? Being the color analyst. Like, what would I, because we're constantly analyzing the pro racers. I mean, every show you do at one point, whether it's a racer guest or
someone in the industry. Yeah.
So I was in the flow state yesterday. But the biggest thing is that I was smiling and I was having fun.
I love that.
And that's
dude.
all it's about.
What's that feel like for you? How do you explain that flow state?
Well, let's just use Jet Lawrence because he's such the hot topic right now. Is he wins races easy against the best racers in the world. Tomac's done that. Cooper Webb's done that. You know, all the great guys are able to win races easy. And you guys even mentioned it on that show about, you know, winning's easier than not winning. And it's because you're fighting it. And I was just thinking about this morning that the great racers are in the, you get a bad start, you start 10th. Right, so you don't have the whole shot, and you're not just out there riding practice laps against the pit board lap time. Right, you actually have to compete, and you're thinking about all this. The great racers ride that same way,
no matter
while
where.
they're in the chaos. Right, and I mean, I can remember having pro motocross races where maybe I didn't get a good start, which was rare. But you're like, you're just passing guys, like, and you're just in that zone. And then there's other ones where you get the whole shot, and I'm just balled up, and it's like, so still at age 54, I'm trying to go, well, why was it so easy then, but other times it's not? And when you're in that flow state, we'll use that as the terminology. It doesn't matter where you start. You know, and maybe you know, you go down the first turn and maybe right up to a third or a second or something. Still an unbelievable ride. Which what I appreciated was the comment about effort over result, right? And I mean, my dad wasn't a mental coach, but my dad knew me better than anybody, and he used to tell me, he would say, look, you need to go to the race and put in your best effort. If you put in your best effort, more than likely you're going to win. But we're not worried about the result. We're worried about the effort. Because if you give the effort, sometimes, I mean, I've had some great second place finishes. I mean, in Binghamton 96, McGrath won both motos. I went 2-2, but my second moto second was like, dude, I was so proud of that ride.
For what it was, not
for the
result.
Effort and what happened. The result was second. Well, certainly didn't want to lose 6 points to McGrath that weekend when we only had one more race to go. But I knew after those two races of what I accomplished that day, getting 2 seconds, that, okay, I'm ready to go for the final race, you know? But it's the effort over the result. And because also, too, when you're coaching or, you know, helping other riders, a Jet Lawrence, his expectation is to win. But I mean, let's say, I don't know, pick a guy that's 15th, right? If he's consistently 15th and he gets a 10th, that's like way out of his expectation. So how do you take all what are like the greatest riders in the world, and, you know, the guy that's 15 is probably not going to win. But so how does he still manage his racing career and his expectations and the team and all this and still make it a worthwhile,
enjoyable, fulfilling
effort, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's go off of the effort, right? And that for some guys, making a top 20 and getting a pro point in a pro motocross, man, that's a win, right? Where Jet Lawrence gets 20th, that's a bad day,
complete disaster.
So you can't, you know, it's not the result per se, I guess, until the final race in the championship. The points are done. But it's more about the effort and, like, did you exceed your expectations? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so your dad was like a bit of a low-key mental coach in a way.
My dad was gnarly on me.
Yeah. In a good way or a bad? Like, good or bad?
For sure. I mean, I look back on it now. It was really, like, I'm too easy on Jagger. I kind of let him off on a lot of stuff when he was playing soccer and all that at a really high level. And it's my dad didn't let me off. You know, a lot of parents don't, like, they really hold you accountable because they know, like, they've known you since you're a little kid, like, you want to be a motorcycle racer. Okay, we're not going to let you slack. And, you know, especially as an amateur racer, when you're that kid, you're 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, you easily like, you know, you don't have any kids yet, but you'll see one of these days. You're you know, kid gets real smart, you get real stupid.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But the worst thing, and Denny Stevenson grew up in Omaha. I grew up in Kansas City. So we'd go do a race down in Texas. So it was 12-hour drive home for me.
Yeah.
It was 15 for him. So you don't do good at that race, man, it was 12, 15 hours again, your ass chewed out. Because our dads put everything into it. The entire family, everything is on that. Yeah. And that's probably a fairly common theme in our sport of just everything sacrificed for the golden child to do this. And they recognize the opportunity, but you're just a kid, right? You want money for video games. You want to hang out with your friends, go to the pool. You know, it's like, no, we actually have got the whole entire family unit is invested in what you're doing. Right. You can't possibly know that. I mean, you got to give the kids some grace. But,
yeah.
And then, thankfully, in my case, you know, it paid off when we reached these goals and stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, I've said before, whenever I was I couldn't get it together. I mean, I remember calling my dad at like 3 a.m. Dad, I don't know what I'm doing, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he would say, look, just simplify it. Go to the race, give it your best effort, every lap that you're on the track, and come home. And if you give your best effort, then that's all you can do. You can't control the weather, a first turn crash, the bike breaks, right? You can't control the result, but you can control your effort and what you did separate from the result. And then, you know, fortunately, I was one of those riders that if I did the effort thing properly, then the result or the podium and the wins and things like that were more than likely going to be there.
Yeah. It's funny, like modern psychology now when it comes to child raising and things like that. Like when I grew up, I was gifted in some areas as a kid, and it's funny, like you kind of unpack a bit of this stuff as you get a bit older. And I was really gifted at reading, and I was really gifted.
I heard that on the show, yeah.
Talking, you know, so like I had like a 17-year-old reading ability in like the 4th grade. Just spent all of 4th grade reading The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Oh, and didn't do so you've read all those books?
Oh, yeah. It was just I didn't do any schoolwork for like years. I just went to the library and read books. So
what's the famous Russian book that's super, like the biggest book ever? What am I thinking of?
Is it War and Peace?
Yeah, War and Peace or something.
Yeah. Dostoevsky.
Tolstoy.
Yeah. Is it Tolstoy or Dostoevsky? It's one of those two.
Yeah. But that's like a weekend for you.
Nah, dude, fuck. But yeah, back then, like I was like a thing, you know, and my parents, it was a blessing but a curse, because you would get told that you were gifted at this, and then the push from my parents was the expectation was very high to achieve academically, because you're smart, you're gifted, like this, you should be doing this. But I actually had all of these other areas.
I didn't have those pressures.
Yeah, well, I had all these other areas where I was just dumb as fuck, you know? So there was this unrealistic expectation.
Oh, they thought you were super smart in everything.
Yeah.
And but you like had this. Yeah, so,
So there was just some stuff, like I just struggled. Attention, I couldn't keep my attention on certain things. And so there was just things that I wasn't good at, but there were these areas that I was very, very far ahead. And when you tell a kid that they're gifted, that they're talented, that they're special, like there's this unrealistic set of expectations that you put on that kid. And so what do they call it? They call it the gifted underachiever. There's like an actual psychological term for it, right? And so I was in that gifted underachiever.
Oh, wow.
Like category, right? And this is all, you know, hindsight. But nowadays,
but with proper therapy, you're doing good with it. You've worked past it.
Now I'm doing fine.
Hey, my dad's way of school was, don't fail, and the school better not call. Other than that, that's on you, because I'm working on motorcycles.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't good at sport, so school was like the only thing that and like we come from a family where nobody went to college. Like literally, my sister is the only person in our entire family tree that actually went to college. But it's just funny now that the psychology is, and what they tell you is, that you praise children's effort, not abilities.
Oh yeah.
Like you tell a child that they're gifted or that they're special, or you're just setting them up for failure. Yeah. And so like your dad just had like that old school wisdom to tell you, because it does make sense. Like if you put your best foot forward, and
his delivery wasn't always
always best practice. Yeah. But I mean, you put your best foot forward, you put your best effort forward. And I think as you go through life and as you get better at things, you realize that the power is in compounding effort. Like just over and
stacks,
over, effort over time, that just compounds and the curve goes up.
And I would say that in my own racing career, there was too much sort of up and down. And that if I could have, like you said, just keep sort of compounding it like this, I wouldn't have had the dips.
What was that from? Injuries, or just
would lose focus. Like I was terrible with the off season. Like I hated the test track and all that.
Yeah,
like
you
let's just
fucking
go
partied too.
Yeah,
you liked a good time.
Yeah, I did, but that's no excuse. I mean, it's Jamie Dobbin. Actually, we were on a FaceTime call earlier, and we were kind of chatting about some of those time periods, and it's like that's just how the '90s was.
Yeah.
And it's just culturally, each sort of generation or each decade kind of has produced something different,
Yeah.
And the '90s decade, that's just how we all operated.
Well, and it was across everything, right? Like even 90s wakeboarding. Like you probably knew some of those guys.
All those guys. Those were all my boys.
Parks Bonifay.
Everybody.
Rusty Malinowski.
Everybody.
All those guys, right? Fucking partied. And then you get Harley Clifford comes along as a 14-year-old Australian, and just all he does is just train and wakeboard.
Well,
and
I was
train.
even like Parks a little bit younger, like Chris Bischoff, Mike Weddington, Kobe Mikasic. Like they all came to Gainesville one year, maybe it was 93, 94, and we were all just getting into wakeboarding. And so then we would go down to their place, right? They had like a place on the lake, and then we would hook up with those guys and go to board stock. Like 98, we took my tour bus and my big F-250 and my wakeboard boat up to board stock up in, it's probably Shasta or something.
Yeah.
Just,
sense it with the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the proper off season that you need if you're trying to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
But
there wasn't a playbook.
Yeah.
for
Byerly, I was literally just texting him the other day, and I remember being with him at board stock, and Pete Fox and our whole group, everybody was up there. I mean, that's a whole story. I can't say that one on the show, but yeah, it was, and this is what we did.
Byerly
and then it would be like,
guy,
oh shit, Anaheim's
dude.
in a month,
Yeah.
where guys like Carmichael or Dungy, they had like their resting block, their training blocks, all this. But, to be fair, none of us were that strict with it. And maybe the guys that were, maybe somebody like LaRocco or Kodrowski, maybe they were too strict. And then we like kind of had this balance between the fun and the work, but that's just the way that it was.
Yeah. And there was no playbook. Like no one had really come along. Like what Ricky, it's well documented what Ricky did, right? But like
Carmichael,
Jeremy came along and started waxing everybody, but it wasn't because he was training every day. I can imagine the thought with you guys was like, fuck, he's just a freak.
Yeah, well, he really made Supercross his priority, and a lot of things sort of happened where the guys from the 80s, your Jeff Ward, Stanton, Johnny O'Mara, some of those guys were kind of aging and they were retiring, and then there was this new group of kids that really we basically 89, 90, 91, our 125 classes were all of a sudden there was some pretty serious talent there. And then, we started to become the stars, and then, with the promoters group and the things that were happening, all of a sudden Supercross started to go to a new level. And where I had, about 94, I was feeling pretty burnt out, where he was like, Jeremy, I should say, he's starting to like really take off. So everything's just interesting and exciting. And I'm kind of like, man, I've been doing this since I was 10 years old. So I kind of had a little, like 94, I was a little dip, right? And it wasn't until I signed with Arnett Sunglasses, started hanging out with Sonny Garcia and Mike Parsons and these surf guys, and maybe even the wakeboard guys, and they're like, man, they think that what I'm doing is really cool. And it's like, oh, maybe I do have something here that maybe I'm not appreciating. But for sure, the end of 93, 94 and that, it was kind of in a little bit of a lull with my own enthusiasm.
That's crazy, eh? That I mean, I see it in. I got fucking friends that drive F1 and they think it's shit. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Hey, bro,
You're missing it here.
you're one of 20 people that get to like.
That's
dude,
as exclusive
Yeah.
of club.
yeah. There's
in
more
motorsports.
astronauts than you.
Yeah,
alright?
yeah, right.
But everybody gets adjusted. Like human beings habituate. You get habituated to everything that you do. Like my dad used to say, for every hot girl, there's a dude tired of fucking her.
Yeah,
It's kind of true though. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a crass way of like delivering quite a philosophical point in that people habituate to everything. People habituate to money. People habituate to women. People habituate to drugs. People, like every single thing, we just kind of get used to it. And sometimes you really have to dig in to find appreciation in the simple things.
That's going to be a great social media clip right there.
Dude. Oh, my dad used to always fucking say it. It was so funny.
Well, my dad's saying was he was divorced, and through most of my upbringing, there really wasn't like a stepmom or anything like that around. And
really?
yeah, and his thing was he was always kind of like negative about women or girlfriends. You don't need no girlfriend, and if something happened to him, he says, hey, girls are like trains. Wait a while, another one will be by. It's like that's old school, old school. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't dish out that type of information to Jagger, or wisdom, I should say, to Jagger.
Yeah. Right? Man, that's wild that you didn't really have like a mother figure around that much.
No. My mom suffered from multiple sclerosis, and they had divorced when I was about 5. I have a little sister, older brother. So, and that's interesting that I think about her more now than I ever have.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What?
I don't want to get too heavy on here and start crying and shit, but like I feel like I pray to her more, and I like talk to her like every night now, which I never used to do. And I don't know, it's just within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, she passed away in 2001, but her disease, if anyone is watching,
it's a
multiple
disease.
terrible situation.
Yeah.
And I often think about how my life would have been different, or I would have it would have shaped my life differently
100%.
to have mom in my life. So yeah, I don't know.
Those things just have like the biggest impact. I mean, like even like Chris Kiefer, he lost his mum. Like his mum was she suffered with like a disability. I don't know if you know Chris that well.
No, not that well.
But man, he's just like the kindest, most caring, loving person. And then you're around him and like you feel that, but then you learn about his mum, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't be that way without going through what he went through, and it's similar for everybody, but on different levels. You know?
We've all had our own life experiences. I was having a deep conversation with Mike Noyes, the CEO of the motorcycle tour Alive Worldwide that I'm a part of. The other day. And we're just like, talking about our lives and, having dinner, drinking some beers. And you're just like, man, just everybody's life is different. You have all these different, influences. And the big thing, I guess, is to not use something as an excuse. And like you have the choice of what you're going to do with this, and people that make the choice and just really make some bad decisions, that's on them still, even though you got dealt a bad deck of cards. We have certainly seen people that were born with a silver spoon and become total assholes, ruin their life, or somebody that basically had nothing and have built their life. So, the personal responsibility thing is really important. With the stuff with my mom, Victoria, I just she was so funny. had just her whole family, the whole Jambrosic family, just have this amazing laugh. And they, whenever I'm around mom's side of the family, which I don't see them very much right now, but they just laugh and they hug each other and they enjoy life, you know. And I'm like, man, it would have been great to know mom as, you know, being an adult. So.
Yeah. It's a lot for your dad to take on, to have 3 kids and then have a kind of like a motocross prodigy.
Well, he was super
racer.
dad. Like, he was super dad. When my parents were split up, our race shop where he lived was about 30 minutes across town in Kansas City. You know, early days, you know, like custody battles and fighting. And my mom married this guy. And it was just, you know, all the,
like messy,
you know, typical
family shit.
stuff. Like, he would drive 30 minutes in the morning to come take us to school and spend 5 minutes with us. And then, you know, owning his own business and everything, he'd come back, pick us up from school, drive us home just so he could spend the 5 minutes with us. I mean, it was like, you know, Tuesday every other week, you know, every Tuesday night and every other weekend. You think about that, like, I mean, I've had kids, like, that's nothing, right? That's terrible to put a father through. And so he was just, I mean, we were everything to him. And once we were old enough, you know, my older brother Brian and I was probably 2nd grade when eventually just full time with dad, and mom probably realized, hey, you know, this is where they're at. They're at bicycles and dirt bikes, and you know, this is the right place to be. And Paige stayed with mom for a little bit longer, and then, she eventually lived with us also. But yeah, he was super dedicated and just gave everything that he could to us, you know. But the racing thing starts to take over, and unfortunately for Paige, who's I will say, she's like the coolest person in the world. I mean, she's, as an adult, she's just such an amazing, like, she's literally my best friend type of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I didn't get to do shit.
Yeah.
She wanted to ride horses and things like this, and she's all, I got to do air filters and massage your feet when we were driving home from a race and you were sore or something, you know.
Dude, that's so wild to think about.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, and
really?
she just got put on the back burner, you know. And we used to have a box fan. We had 2 different box fans. They were all built out, so there was like bunks, you know, like behind the cab there were bunks. And we always tell this story, like, when it was cold as shit and we're driving home and we're in the upper bunk and we're both trying to sleep. So we've got our legs are kind of overlapping. Yeah. And we, you know, we're probably like, I was probably like 11 years old or whatever. And we're fighting for the spot against the wall because it was warmer. And over here was cold. And, you know, so we're like kicking each other, and she bites my toe. And then she got in trouble for injuring me because I had to race.
Dude, that's like, crazy. There's a lot of families that like that.
I've thought about that in a long time.
Man, it's crazy. There's a lot of families that are like that, though. You know, they have like multiple kids. Yeah. But then you've got this. I mean, you ended up being one of the best ever in the sport. So it's like, you know, your dad kind of saw something in you, and you think about like the responsibility for a father to deliver on a kid's potential, you know, like when you see.
Oh, and it's not easy either. It's what's the next week, like, especially back then, there weren't agents and blueprints and stuff. I mean, the progression from amateur racing to pro racing when I came through, even, like, I went and rode, so I was still going to be amateur in 89. I went and rode my first pro motocross, last race of the year in 88. I'd just gone from B class to A class. And I'm like, Dad, I want to go ride a pro race because you could, you know, you had like a Pro-Am license. Yeah. And there was just a lot of gray area in between, you know. There wasn't like, I didn't have Star Racing and Geico and Pro Circuit and whoever else, you know, offer me a contract, you know, 3-year deal as my development. It was like, what's Team Green giving us for the next year? And that's all the further ahead you look, right? But I went and rode Anaheim 89. I was still amateur all year, but I go ride Anaheim. Okay. I was first heat race of the night. So I hole shot to checkers in the heat race. I'm an amateur kid.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the main event, I hole shot, lead 11 laps. Matasevich passes me, and I was like pissed off. Like, I wanted to win the race. And I like go over the berm, like crashed. I think I had 9th or 13th or something, whatever. It's kind of immaterial. But that kid that has that speed or talent or whatever you want to call it, he doesn't get to Anaheim 1 without already being on one of these teams.
Yeah.
He's already there. He's probably been there for 2-3 years.
So you were just a Team Green kid?
Team Green kid. Showed up in our own box fan. And it was crazy because I had a BFA helmet deal that I was trying to get out of. And the guy that would become my mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, had this custom painted Shoei from Troy Lee Designs. And I talked him into letting me wear it that night. So my first Supercross that I almost won, I wore Jeremy Albrecht's helmet. I didn't even wear my own helmet. Like, what kids are going to show up to Anaheim?
Yeah, that's not a
borrowing
thing.
A helmet.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
And then the next day, we go to a Golden State Series race at Carlsbad to make some money, and I ended up breaking my elbow. And then end of series. But I was fast enough to win the race. That kid doesn't make it through without already being on the program. He's got an agent.
He's got trainers.
Yeah,
he's got factory bikes. The whole
Button
deal.
or Beaker or Astvin or somebody already, and all this stuff's in place.
Are you kind of glad you didn't have that, or would you wish you did have that? Looking back,
I think it's just one of those things. That was the times.
Yeah.
It was what it was. I mean, you can't judge yourself then by what you know now.
Yes.
Right. Like that seems to be happening a lot in society. Of everybody that's really smart now about cultural events and political stuff, and they're judging something that happened 50 years ago or 100 years ago off of what we know now.
Bro,
and
that is the most
you can't do it.
fucking annoying thing of all time.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in Australia, there's obviously like an Indigenous population, and we grew up in like a real Indigenous area of Australia, and it's just like, then there's like the whole colonize, like it was colonized, like the country was colonized, and it's like that was the world. There were European countries that figured out how to build boats, and then a lot of people got on those boats and they just traveled to countries that didn't have boats, and then they stayed there. Like, that's just...
You really broke this down.
But it's like,
but it's true.
But that's the way of the world. And there's so many examples in life of being here now in this era with this moral compass, with this...
Yeah, the moral compass. That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, with these developments in society that just take, like, literally hundreds of years to actually develop, and then looking back and being like... Ugh. Fuck it.
Well, that's why you really can't control eras within racing. And like I tell everybody, I said, you could ask any great champion if, could I have beat Bob Hanna or Rick Johnson, or, you go on down the line, right? Because right now, obviously, Jet is such he's right on the tip of the sword where everybody's thinking, okay, man, he's going to be the greatest ever. And it's like, hold on, there's a long ways to go to do that, right? He is racing against some great champions, so the field is strong and all that. But I mean, I'm like, if you ask me if I could beat Bob Hanna, Rick Johnson, Ricky Carmichael, anybody else on my best day, hell yeah, I could have. And they have the freedom to say the same. The only thing that, like, the only way to compare things is just by the stats. What are the records, right?
Yeah.
And so that is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, on my best day, I could have beat anybody.
Yeah.
And I expect them to say the same thing.
Yeah, and you got to think, I guess, technique changes, like, the thing...
Would you have liked to ride those bikes back in the early 70s?
No.
Those things beat the shit out of you. You're not riding until you're 36 years old like Reed and Wyndham did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why they wore kidney belts. They had to, right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, like, if you degraded Jet's motorcycle to the point, you're never going to make it even Stevens.
No.
But the other thing that you guys had was knowledge that gets built over time, right? So
sure.
This was like super apparent in jiu-jitsu. So a white belt that starts jiu-jitsu 20 years ago has no information.
Yeah.
And so you go to, like, it might be a real small gym with like a Brazilian dude that barely speaks like any English, and then he's probably got some other Brazilian dudes that he gravitates more towards because they are from the same place, speak the same language. So you're getting like drip fed this information, right? I started jiu-jitsu in 2018. Bro, I had every match that was ever taken place, every world championship, every athlete from every belt, instructional DVDs, books, like the amount of information that has been gathered over time. So like me as a white belt in 2018, like I could probably beat like black belts back then, purely based on the availability of knowledge, right? But then like the mean that started in 2018 versus like a current black belt, like you're never gonna beat that person. So it's like you have this like scale of relativity.
Well, it's really apparent in action sports of the progression.
100%.
Right. When Tony Hawk or any of the great action sports champions are attempting a 720 or something, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
and now it's like there's
10-year-olds
10-year-olds
that
do it like that's no problem. And it's like, so, well, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the backflip that Carey Hart did. Man, he made it look pretty fucking hard that first time. I mean, he even injured his back.
Yeah.
Now it's like, like doing a backflip is like doing a whip.
Dude, Robbie Madison's kid does them on lock cruise.
Yeah.
Just on lock. He's like 12.
Yeah, but if nobody had ever done it and he was the first kid that was out there and hadn't been able to visualize it and see the success and just go, oh, it can be done.
Yeah.
Well, Carey and the other guys around him that was right at that time where, hey, I think it's time we need to start flipping this motorcycle. You really didn't know, right? And you didn't practice it into foam pits and then to resis or airbags and everything that they have now. Certainly, I mean, every one of those guys wishes that they had that advantage. So that's why all of that sort of stuff speeds up. And then just to relate it to motocross and supercross and what we do, like, the guys in the 80s, they all trained pretty hard, and they started to Bob Hanna and those guys in the 70s, they did like work, like they were like Rocky style training. And then in the 80s, guys like David Bailey and Johnny O'Mara, Jeff Ward, these guys started to get a little more scientific with it. Jeff Spencer comes in and like, maybe we should actually think about what you're eating and drinking and putting in your body, And so then they started to go, okay, it's a little more structure to this. Our generation came around and were like, that looks like no fun. We want to go play ride in the hills. So we probably took the skill or the riding of the motorcycle, maybe elevated it at that time, and then some of us were like, oh shit, we really kind of got to do this training thing also. But we didn't really, I don't think that most of us really wanted to do that.
Nobody wanted to do that, yeah.
No, and the guys that were known as like hard trainers, like that was their thing. And we were just becoming more skilled on the bike and doing whatever training we kind of needed, I mean, eventually the hard work becomes the number one skill that you need to learn.
Yeah.
Above skill of riding the motorcycle. Like, I'm convinced now that I'm older, it's like, well, the real skill is doing the work.
Yeah.
But
they say fitness is the mother of all skill. I think that's true.
Yeah.
How many of your New Year's resolutions have you been able to keep so far? I've been able to keep on track with my daily nutrition habits, as I'm still starting off each and every morning with AG1, the same way I have for years. 1 scoop a day, or one of the convenient travel packs when I'm away at the races, make it really easy to stay on track with my health goals. For me, the benefits of taking AG1 every day are super clear. Firstly, it just sets the day off on the right foot. Secondly, after years of taking AG1, I know how good it is for my digestion and overall gut health. My skin is clearer and my hair and nails are healthier. I love that AG1 is NSF certified for sport, meaning it's been independently tested for quality. When it comes to my health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/gypsytales to start your new year on a healthier note. You also were in the generation that was like an amateur kid. Like you were probably in the first amateur kid generation where your dad, like you said, just put everything into your amateur career because he probably watched guys like Bob Hanna and Ricky Johnson, like those guys make a career out of it. So it was like the first time ever that a fan of the sport, like your dad, was able to see those guys making a living and then see you riding a mini bike and be like, dude, you could do that. And then dedicate your life. So I'm sure those guys, they all had a very normal childhood, rode when they could, rode on the weekends, raced, trained.
Yeah. But
it wasn't like their whole childhood was dedicated to racing a dirt bike all over the country.
And so the amateur transition from the 70s, well, I mean, think about it when guys like Jeff Ward or Rick Johnson, Brock Glover, a lot of my early heroes, the first time they rode Supercross, they had to ride 250 Supercross, which is the premier class, because there wasn't even a 125 division yet, right? Yeah. So there was really no bridge there. And in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, is when Ron Hendrickson and the NMA really started to develop the race in Ponca City, Oklahoma, which really was the precursor to Loretta's. Yeah. And that was end of July, like that was the big race. And then early 80s is when Dave Coombs Sr., he was taking Timmy and Davey home from Ponca, and he said, I think I can do it better. And literally stopped at this ranch, Loretta Lynn's ranch, on their way back to West Virginia from Ponca, pulled in and said, hey, would you guys be interested in letting me host a motorcycle race here? That was 81, so in 82 they had the first Lorettas. The whole amateur scene right now is just so evolved from back in my day, right? I mean, it's there's a clear path, and only a certain number of riders are going to make it to the top of the mountain. That hasn't changed, but the depth of field and opportunity is so much greater for so many other kids than what it used to be.
Oh, 100%. And so if you go back to the start of the conversation, like Jet now is the white belt in 20, or like you know what I mean? Like when he was a kid, he was like just the white belt kid that started and had years of tapes of Stephen Everts, Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart. And you think about like the backflip, for example. Bro, the backflip was like Y2K. Remember Y2K when it was like the planes are going to fall out of the sky, the clocks are going to stop.
Wasn't it like Dew Tour 99 when he did that? Or 98 even maybe?
Yeah, it was. But what I'm saying is like no one even knew if the bike would stay working when he went upside down.
Yeah, like you know the flood might run out of fuel or some like, crazy shit.
And everyone's thinking
because we were always keep the rubber side down.
Yep.
And then the FMX guys were like, hey, let's try to flip this thing around.
And everyone's just being like, dude, is the fucking world going to stop? Like, what's going to happen? Will the bike blow up? Like, what will happen if I put this thing upside down 40 feet in the air? Yeah. But once you see it, it's like, is it the 3 minute, 4 minute mile?
4 minute mile.
4 minute mile. I always fuck that up. 4 minute mile. It took literally forever up until the first dude did it. And then it was like a month later. And then after that, so it's the same thing, like perception is reality in that sense.
I just saw an Instagram post today. They were talking about the 5 most difficult things in sports, and the 4 minute mile was one of them. Yeah. But I think the stat was there's only like 1,500 people or 1,800 ever that have done that.
Really?
But like you're saying is that nobody could do it. Then once somebody did it.
Yeah. Floodgates open.
Yeah.
And then people.
Well, 1,800 maybe at this point.
But I mean, if you look at the period of time for people to try and run that.
Since the beginning of time?
When they did it. Yeah. To when they did it. And then.
I don't think they did that on Chariots of Fire, did they? When was that?
You know what's crazy? You know why a marathon is 42 Ks?
I have no idea.
Dude, so apparently that's the distance. Well, not apparently. That's the distance from, there was like a battle in Greece. And so it was like from Athens, this guy ran 42 kilometers. He was like a Spartan dude. And he ran 42 kilometers back to basically warn people of like
he didn't do it in 4-minute miles with all that shit on.
I don't know.
His sword and his shield and no chance. But
that's where it comes from. 42 kilometers this dude ran. And there's a bit more to that story. But how crazy is that? That's how far back a marathon goes.
That's your gift from all that reading.
Just fucking read and forgotten some useless facts. But yeah, so like I think that has, regardless of bikes getting better and like technology getting better, I think it's just every generation. Like there's a kid that would be riding parlor, you probably see that you just watch and you're like, dude, how are you this good, this little and this young? Yeah. Like on a 50, just sending it, doing stuff that like you probably weren't doing in your career.
A year or so ago, when they still had the triple step up in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm training for Loretta's. Let's say it was this time last year, basically, and some kids ripping it on 65, and I'm coming up like first lap, like checking up, and then I'm out there doing my motos and I'm jumping it clean on a 350, and then here comes this kid just bombing it on some like 65 Cobra. Yeah, the progression thing with action sports and sports in general like that of what kids can do, whether it's soccer or whatever, right, it's because now it's been done and you can see it.
Yeah.
Now you can break it down and duplicate it, and then you can know that it can be done. But until somebody does it, I just saw some snowboard clip. I don't even know how many rotations the guy had, but
75.
I mean, I don't even know what the number was. It's probably 1,800 or something. Yeah. I mean, he just was like, he had so much rotation, it was probably elevating him,
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, 20 years ago, it's like, whoa, he went 360, 720, holy shit. And now it's like.
And you just have those moments like the first barber scrub where everyone, like, do you remember that? Do you remember the first time?
Yeah, I remember probably seeing a pic or something. Probably was a Fox or an Oakley ad, right? Yeah, he certainly had taken things to the next level. And he was, James, not that I have ever really been close to him, but through like Fox Racing and the people around, he definitely, like, he would just sit there and watch race videos over and over and over. He was just mesmerized by it. And, there's kids out there doing the same thing right now.
Were you like that as a kid? Were you the kind of kid that would just pump motos and just ride and ride and ride and ride and ride?
I wanted to ride all the time. Like, we didn't live in a place where we could go practice on our race bike all the time. But we had ATC 70s, we had Yamaha or mopeds. We always had something to put gas in, and Dad always had gas for us. So we were always on two wheels, my older brother and I. And we raced every weekend. Right. So, and like, I always wanted to go ride, and probably because I stuttered so bad, like I didn't really want to talk or anything. And then my bike was the place where I could just go get away from everything. Right. Type of thing. I don't know. But certainly had a passion for it early on. And Dad obviously identified that, when I was a little kid.
It's so strange how you just have like an escape. Like, that's all it was for me as a kid. I just didn't love my situation as a kid, and I had a bike, and I either rode a BMX bike, a mountain bike, or a dirt bike.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as I got my license, I didn't go to fucking college. I tried not to get a real job. I just tried to have enough money to have a good bike and a good and gas and a little truck, and I just go to these public, it was just like land that had track sand, and I just fucking ride and ride and ride. And it was just because I didn't love something like my situation in life, it just becomes such an escape.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that you gravitate towards things that seem to make sense? Right? Like, I'm quite certain that the first time that Stevie Ray Vaughan picked up a guitar,
100%,
it just all made sense.
Yeah.
Right. And like for somebody like myself, I get on a motorcycle, like it's just all, this is kind of it. Like, people that do great at math, they see a problem and, it's just this and that. I'm looking at it like, whoa, I don't have any idea what that is, but then we gravitate towards it. Plus there's also the, not just that side, but then also, I mean, let's face it, I'm built like, if you were going to build a motorcycle rider, like my sort of build is probably right down the center of the plate, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Feet aren't too big. I'm not too tall. I don't carry very much weight. All the leverage points are good. And so then I probably had that work in my favor, right? My VO2 capacity and my heart probably work proper. Certainly in cycling sports, there's probably a million riders out there, male and female, like, man, I really love this, but their body just, naturally they don't operate. And the people that excel at it, well, I just happen to have a high VO2 max. Yeah. This person can train their ass off and never have that, right? So you kind of like, I just kind of find success here, but getting back to it is like, this makes sense to me. I don't have a fear of turning the throttle where other young kids would get on and be like, I don't know about this. They're feeling the vibration and, it's scaring them. And I'm feeling the vibration and going, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I think, I think the people that are lucky, I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. I don't know whether it's just like age is like, I'm getting like, I turned 37 the other day and I'm like,
so old.
I'm like, well, damn, that's late 30s. I feel like at 36, you can still say mid 30s. 37 is late 30s.
Yeah, you're right there on that cusp.
There's a change,
Yeah.
And it's like thinking about kids and all that sort of shit. And it's like, I've got a career that's going good. And so it's like, I don't know, just thinking about life in a different way. But the one thing that I've really been thinking is like, okay, so there's two projects. I've kind of got this like map of, I think I was saying it with Christian the other day, where it's like, you should spend your childhood and your 20s like finding out what you like and what you're good at. And then you should develop the skills that you are good at. Because when it comes to monetize, when it comes to getting a job, you should do something that you're good at and something that you can enjoy doing. I think one thing that I've always been addicted to in my own life is progress. I've always liked to do things that I can progress at. And I think this is probably like the best thing that I did, like the video stuff. Like I was quite good at that, and that's why like at the start of my career I was like getting very into the video production side of things. But yeah, it's like you should find something that you're good at and that you like doing, and really develop those skills, because you can make a career out of that, and then you can really enjoy your career. And I think that when you said before about you can control your effort, I think that to me that's linked with doing something for the right reasons. So like take the podcast for example, like you could do this for fame and attention and like all of that, right? That I would argue is probably the wrong reason to do it.
Podcast's a cool thing to do. I got some sponsors.
Tons of people talk about. Yeah, you're always
dude. You do 3-hour shows. Trust me, you have a passion for it and you have a skill for it. You couldn't knock out conversation, and the one thing that you do so well is you're interested in the conversation and you're interested in the answers, not just I'm going to talk.
Yeah,
because a lot of podcasts are like that. This is obviously an interview show where there is a dialogue that's back and forth. My guy Tucker Carlson, I think, like I love Tucker. Sometimes the guest starts going, well, hold on, Tucker, let me ask you this. And then he may ramble on about something, right? Even though, okay, he's asking the questions, right? But you have a really good knack for pushing the conversation forward. So
I appreciate it. Well, I think, like at least for me, the way that I look at this is like, I just try and provide value. So it's like there's a community of motocross action sports. So there's something in this that's valuable to people that listen, you know. And I think that, so yeah, that I try and think of that as like, okay, that's like the right reason to do it. I really enjoy it. I get fulfillment out of it. A lot of people really like it. It helps a lot of people. It makes money. It provides for 5 people at this point. So it's like, if you can find something that you like, and then you find to do it for the right reasons. And then I think the next challenge in your life is live with who you want to live with, where you want to live. And then if you can like do those 3 things, you kind of don't have to like compare yourself to other people. You don't have to think about what you don't have. Like, you kind of dialed and you can sort of just tick along, right? But I think that I gravitated towards riding as way more of an escape. Like, I knew I was never going to be professional at it because like cardio, not great. Like, you know, I didn't have like the natural.
Do you fall down a lot?
Not really.
Do you crash a lot?
No, not because I don't go fast enough to crash, bro. I'm fucking too scared. But yeah, like I was the guy that was like scared to go super fast. It's like ironic that I probably did more to influence the sport by never you know what I mean? By not racing. It's like kind of funny how that worked out. But I think I just gravitated towards that as an escape from real life. You know, like I've figured out very early on that the voice inside your head stops talking when you're scared on a motorcycle and when you're riding. So I think I kind of gravitated to it a bit more for those reasons. But I think that like what you're saying is you find out that you're kind of good at something and you go all in on that because there's so much value that you can provide to society by doing something really well, like Stevie Ray Vaughan playing guitar, Jimi Hendrix.
I wonder if in like whatever the latest generation is with the instant gratification timeline that they're on, that people give it enough time to develop, right? And there's so many other distractions. Well, you don't like that? We'll go do something else. Like with me, there was no, this is it. And we always had a race shop. My dad was a race car builder, fabricator. Trust me, my hands can fit a broom. And I don't remember ever saying
that's where the calluses come from.
Yeah, that's where I got my hands in shape for the weekend. Yeah. But having to, a race shop there's welders and heliarchs and saws, and there's a ton of waste, right, from the mills and the lathes, right? Like aluminum waste is the absolute worst. It's like like little curlicues, and it just sticks to the broom, right? Yeah. Well, my brother and I, we were required to clean that shit up, and I don't remember a certain moment, but I definitely can look back of it's like going, well, what do I have to do to not do this? Well, if I keep doing this racing thing, I'm getting this praise and this it
was like positive
reinforcement from my father. If I keep doing this, then maybe I don't have to do that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
So it's like
100%. Yeah. That was my motivation in life. Like we weren't very well off. We grew up in like a pretty fucked up area. Yeah. And I just saw my dad hated his job, and I just saw a dude that loved motorcycles, didn't really ever get to ride, and had to just work his ass off to provide for 3 kids. Yeah. And I was just fucking traumatized by just how,
Yeah, and we certainly
that's a powerful thing.
I don't really remember how old I would have been when I really started to understand the sacrifices that Dad had made. I mean, who knows how much money he borrowed from people and different things to make sure that, we got to where we needed to go, the racing and all that stuff. I'm quite sure there's a lot that he still has never told me about that way, but I mean, it was full dedication. And there was 2 times that I remember when I was a 80 rider, I was still riding mini cycles. We were doing Golden State Series at Carlsbad, and I had won the first moto, and the second moto. These races were on TV, so the 80 expert was on like TNN, Yeah, like Ralph Shaheen actually called one of the or did like interviews at
No
one of the races
way.
once. Yeah, but like they would show the 80 expert, 125, 250, and 500 expert, and it was like on the Nashville Network on TNN. And the second moto, I slip down, I slide out coming out of this turn, and it's like right where all the parents stood, like the mechanics area. And you see my dad on the TV, like he's like, God damn it. And he was so fucking pissed afterwards. Well, I was going to get a $2,000 bonus from Team Green for winning that race. Well, you know, at age 15, you don't realize that we needed that $2,000 to get home or whatever the situation would have been, right? But that's the type of pressures that I kind of knew was there, but I didn't really understand it, you know? But then it was probably the same year where we raced Ponca City, and Ponca was like Loretta's is now. Ponca was the big one still.
Ponca was massive.
Loretta's hadn't evolved to the place that it is now, you know, in importance. But, and I had won the 80 stock expert. That was like the one that all the manufacturers wanted, right? Because it's like stock bikes, and our bike is the best, you know, whatever. And I beat Bradshaw, all the R&D Suzuki kids, like everybody. And I really wasn't expected to win that race. And on Sunday morning, I win the main event. And I remember when I pulled off the track that my dad was so happy that he was crying. And I knew by his response that whatever I just did was significant and different than any other race. I mean, I'd won hundreds of races, but this one's different, right? And I don't know, maybe we got that $2,000 bonus then. I don't know, but you know, you know, those different responses there from what, you know, how dad treated each situation was kind of your compass of like, oh shit, you know. And then you started to realize like some things it was starting to become important rather than just like a family hobby.
Fuck, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine, I'm just trying to like put myself in that position of just like coming across the finish line, seeing your dad, who's like, it's obviously a pretty gnarly dude, race shop,
yeah,
building cars, driving you all around the country.
Yeah.
And you see
and we were doing motorcycles by then, but yeah.
And just seeing you in that, like seeing him in that state.
Yeah, just such a, I mean, you're just like, as your parent, you know, you've obviously done something that they just think is wonderful. And
is it a little confusing when you look back on it?
I mean, you're just a kid. I think that was 86. I might have been 15 years old, you know. And I was pretty immature for my age. I mean, I probably hadn't even hit puberty at that point, you know. I was a pretty little kid. Yeah.
Yeah, like 15 now to 15 then is a crazy.
Oh, you know what it is?
Crazy
So
difference.
Jagger, my son Jagger is 17, almost 18. He's at least 2 inches taller than I am right now. Like, and he's been taller than me for probably the last 2-3 years. You know what I think it is? So when they were kids, his mom would go to Costco and get those little dino chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I think there's just a massive amount of hormones in that chicken.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with, because he used to pump those things. He loved them, right?
Just little baby steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, oh man, we're like trying to have a kid, and I'm just like, fuck. Bringing up a kid,
you know,
now,
practice makes perfect, is what they say. You want to have the perfect, beautiful child.
Yeah, just practice.
Tell your wife you got to practice a lot.
Yeah, dude. It's a weird time to fucking have kids though. Like, yeah, I don't know how much of the AI shit you follow or not, but like, bro, the world is about
politics.
to change.
Hey, my friends know I don't follow any politics.
You do a bit, don't you? You said
hardcore.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson.
Go deep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have not been able to stop listening to shit about Jeffrey fucking Epstein, bro.
I'm getting tired of it.
Me too, but
like,
also
at this point, I don't really give a shit. Like,
really?
Release the list, don't release the list. Like, I'm kind of over it. There's more important things happening that, you know, I don't want to go too hard on here, but yeah, that's I mean, I get the significance of, but now we're just, let's move on.
What do you think it is?
Why?
Like, what do you think it is? What's happening? Because there was a 180.
Well, there's been a couple of 180s. Surely he's, was, rest his soul. Probably an intelligent asset for Israel, I would say. That seems to be a rational explanation.
It's definitely a very plausible explanation.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's crazy, dude. Like I was listening to a.
Well, we need a Ghislaine to get in there and like just.
Did you hear what she said today?
No, I didn't.
So she will dump it all, but only for immunity.
As she should.
Yeah.
Like fine, like no problem.
Just called leverage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she basically said that she'll sit on the stand and plead the fifth in front of Congress, which she's completely legally entitled to.
Yeah.
Unless
seems to be the easy way out. Nobody like whatever.
Crazy, eh? But yeah, the whole thing, like, man, I think, like, obviously Trump's on the list. Like, there's but what is the list, right? Like, there's a huge web of information. Being a guy that's married to a Russian woman, Trump is also married to a Slavic woman. Yeah. I just don't know that he's getting away with any of that shit. Even at the level that he's operating, like, just from personal experience.
Right? Somebody's, I don't know. I mean, it's there's people on the list that don't want the list to come out. There ain't no doubt about that. Like it's not a good situation and not a good look for people. But like I said, just in general, I'm kind of growing tired of it. Let's focus on some more important things. Like release it, don't release it. Let's move on. Let's just the whole reason we wanted the list to come out so we could put that to bed and move on. And it just drags on. So it's like at this point I'm bored of it.
I think that Trump knows how bad it would be.
Yeah.
And I think so in terms of him not release, like that's such a weird, like it's just
well, like the JFK stuff, those guys, like when Trump was in office the first time, is like, I don't think that my judgment was, I don't think the people are ready for it and can handle it. And it's like, that type of stuff, like, of course it's all just political leverage, big banks, countries, and
because his whole thing is basically the economy, right? Like he's done so much to try and get the economy back going. And like you imagine that comes out and there's all of these different people.
He's a businessman. He wants to make he wants to run a successful business. And right now he's the CEO of the United States of America, right? Yeah. And so really he doesn't want anything to get in the way of that. Like, maybe that's the mindset. So
that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point is it's just like there's be enough shit in there to probably tank the stock market if enough stuff comes out. And it's like, I just don't know that he is prepared to tank the stock market. His whole thing is like, we're going to win, make America great again. Yeah. It's like pretty hard to make America great if every single fucking Fortune 500 company's CEO has got video, but which sucks because if there is crimes, like those people should be brought to justice. But yeah, I'm just like, fuck. It's like, it's our Watergate. Like it's our generation's Watergate.
Yeah, I could give you more Watergates, but we're here to talk about dirt bikes and stuff.
Yeah, true.
And we end up pissing people off. We started to talk politics too much.
Yeah. Fuck, it's
still a good point.
It's so crazy.
I've actually thought, man, if I did another podcast, like I'd want to do something that's like what my close friends, who shall remain nameless to protect them, just. It's like, let's have this conversation, like let's sell this conversation, and it would be like, but then I would alienate half of my customers.
I wish that people could be more balanced. Like I wish that people could have, like, because two things can be true at the same time. Yeah. And that's one thing from being like a foreigner. That's one thing where I'm just like, this is so down the line.
Well, it's the craziest time ever. And I try to talk to my kids about this stuff. Jagger's 17, Presley's 21. They don't want to hear about nothing like that. But it's like, no, you guys have to understand, like this is a really wild time in the world, right? Like for all these crazy current events and political things that are happening. You know, we don't have to talk about them in detail, but like this isn't normal. And so unfortunately, sort of general idea here is somewhere along the line, it's gonna do this. And like what happened in America with the Civil War, where there was like, you know, two sides, and it just got to be so much where they just got so divided. All right, let's go, you know. And unfortunately, you know, that it's like that's where we're headed. And why it's relevant, me and my friends that have children or sons specifically, is you think, man, like what if, you know, we think this is never going to happen here again, right? The wars always take place somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, our sons and daughters volunteered to go do that. But if it was in a situation where they didn't have a choice of whether they were volunteering or not, well, shit, Jagger's of that age right now. Like, I don't want that for him, you know, not for me or his mother or the family, you know, but who knows, it may come down to that. It's just so heated, you know. It's like at a certain point you're like, man, let's just bring it.
Let's just go fucking ride Pala.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to get in your two motos. Well, yeah, being married to someone that's not from a country that's always at war, like the realities of that shit. Like we were in Bali when like the first attack on Ukraine happened, and it was like the heaviest day, dude.
Really?
Well, yeah.
See, I was like unaffected. I'm like, oh, go on the maps. Where the fuck is Ukraine at again? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, so how's this? My wife's best friend was giving birth in a fucking hospital in Kiev, and it was getting bombed.
Oh, wow.
So like that's how, yeah, like. So what you're saying is right. Like it's so you're kind of isolated, you're in a bubble, but then it's like it is fucking real when that stuff does go down. And yeah, I'd never been involved in anything like that. We wake up in Bali, we're in a beautiful villa, we're just fucking chilling, we're getting up, we're about to go to train, and then we're gonna have a breakfast, and then it's just like her whole world shut down for weeks, just because she was so affected by. Her fucking stepdad went to war. Like, dude, it was fucking crazy. The whole thing was insane, dude.
Yeah, I'm so insulated from that really directly, you know?
Yeah.
Anything like that. And there's, you know, my fiance Jessica, she's like, I have to tone it down and not have things on.
Yeah.
And we have a little conversation, but she's watching like her, you know, reality
She's watching
TV
Love
shows.
Island. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Southern Charm, I actually got kind of a little bit emotionally invested in that. I like that.
God.
Below Deck.
I don't know what any of these things are.
Oh man, it's on 24/7, and it's the same thing. So we said, okay, let's balance this out. But it's also, you know, if you can't do something about it directly, or it's not affecting you directly like it did me, where it is for you and your wife, it's like, man, like the fact that we're not directly affected by it, we almost have a responsibility to just go live our life and like make the best of every day.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can easily get so sucked into it, politics in general, which I'm trying to not be, but you know, I just don't want to be uneducated about things, and so that's kind of where I'm at. But it's like, man, I got the freedom now to go ride my motorcycle tomorrow. It's great.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, being American, living in America during my entire lifetime, we have some unbelievable freedom.
Oh, dude.
Fucking
the most.
Yeah.
Like when my wife
amazing.
first got here, so the first time she ever went to America, came to America, and growing up where she grew up, she never thought she'd go to America, never, like, just wasn't on her radar as a Russian.
And you grew up in where at in Australia?
In Cairns, like way up northeast.
Oh shit!
Like way.
So America for both you two were like a million miles away. It was like going to Mars.
Well, but America for me was always the place that I wanted to go to because of you guys. You know, like watching Crusty Demons, watching Steel Roots, watching.
You want to go to Glamis,
bro? 100%.
Is Seth Inslow gonna be there? Let's fucking go,
dude. The first time I went to Glen Helen, I'm just like, fuck off. Like, couldn't believe it.
And that's just a crappy Thursday of having to practice for us.
Yeah, you guys just. And for me to go to like Redbud, Southwick, like those places was just like completely mind-blowing, right? But so for her, like, so I always wanted to go to America, and I've been in America back and forward since 2010, you know. So it's like 15 years. It's like almost half my life, you know. So at this point I've spent more of my adult life here than in Australia. So as far as being an adult and like having agency over my life, it's been here, right? But for her, it was never a thing where she ever thought she would go to America to even visit. Like, just wasn't a thing, right? And she flew in the day before LA SMX at the Coliseum, right? Got in, we drove, basically stayed the night, drove straight to Supercross. We watched the Supercross, and we were staying at a friend's place in Beverly Hills. So then we're staying in like this fucking mega mansion in Beverly.
She's like, oh, is all of it like this?
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck is this place? And so we drive from basically the hood in Coliseum.
Yeah.
So we drive through the hood, up West Hollywood. All of the gay bars, dude. There's like some 6'5" black dude in a G-string, a tutu, and fucking high heels with dreads. And just like like, it was probably by the time we left the press conference and all that, like 1:30 in the morning on the street in West Hollywood. Fucking gay dudes in drag everywhere. And Anna's just like, and then we rock up in this $10 million fucking mansion
just
in
a
Beverly
full
Hills.
LA experience. Her mind is blown.
And she's like, this is what freedom looks like. She's like, this whole thing is freedom right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is the most free place that she'd ever been in her life. Mind-blowingly free. So she's like, is that allowed? She's like, wound the window down, pointing at this fucking 6'5" black dude in a tutu. And she's like, is he allowed to do that? I'm like, this is fucking America, baby.
This is California even.
You can be and do whatever the fuck you want. And like, her joke is like, every time she lands at LAX, she gets in the car and she's like, smell the freedom.
Smells like freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of America that a lot of Americans have completely forgotten.
They
and
have
completely
zero idea.
put out of their mind.
I mean, I haven't really gone out of the country to places that were really dangerous. Like, I've never been to Beirut or some, dangerous place in Eastern Africa or whatever. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, I've never been to Mogadishu or whatever, and we can easily take for granted what this whole American experiment is, right? And I mean, you just think about, that's why it's like, we thought the 80s kind of sucked, but the 80s were so awesome. It like, growing up what I did, we didn't hardly have any money or anything, but man, I had the best life. Like, I would not want to change it one bit. We didn't have a swimming pool, but we had motorcycles and mopeds and three-wheelers, and Dad would give us money to go to the arcade and play video games and buy pop and, which is like soda
for
Coke, what some people call everything. It's just a Coke. It's different flavors of Coke. Yeah. I mean, it was great. And we just had, like, especially then as a child, the freedoms that you had. I mean, if we didn't go to the shop with my dad, I mean, hell, we'd ride our BMX bikes way further away than my kids were ever allowed to be gone.
100%.
Like, they're not at all, we're never allowed to really be out of our sight, right? When we were at the shop, our race shop used to be like down this road. There were all these junkyards, and my dad's business was in this, this is one of the early days, this big car complex, right? We just like rode our bikes. We were in these junkyards, and there's these hills and stuff. We'd ride all the bike. We'd ride up to McDonald's, and we
Not
just had
scared
like all
of
these,
anything?
No, and it wasn't like that was in a good area either.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just went everywhere, and it's like the generation now. I mean, yeah, my kids were never almost out of a line of sight ever when they were kids, right?
Yeah. So. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be a weird time to bring a kid into the world.
Yeah. It's a different world right now. That's for sure. It's
Do you follow much of like the whole AI thing?
What
Like
again?
AI. Like
AI?
yeah, like artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Like that's about we're about to live, bro. The world in 5 years, none of us are gonna recognize it.
Yeah,
And
what's crazy about AI is how they're these. I was just watching a speech that, if I could remember the guy's name, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's like the top guy or one of them.
Was it like Sam Altman or something?
Yeah, not Sam, but one of the guys was just talking about how like ChatGPT, like it's programmed to tell you certain things, right? So it's like it's no longer searching necessarily for the right answer to give you a list of answers. Now it's programmed and probably reprogramming itself to it's pretty scary. Like I use it to answer some questions to stuff that is basic, but like I use Grok 4 now. But for sure, I mean, my little sister Paige is a math professor at University of Central Missouri. Yeah,
wow.
Of all things, yeah. So I'm doing air filters when she was a teenager, and now she's total math whiz. And all the kids, they all cheat all their homework. They are all using AI. They can't show their work. Catch Jagger using AI, and like Jessica's like, Jagger, you can use that to get this work done, but what are you learning? The point is not to get the answers on the homework or even the test right. The purpose is like Paige, she's super dedicated teacher, like teacher of the year type person. She's like, you really want to learn the information. You want to become smarter, not pass the test.
Yeah.
And they all use it for all the homework. If they're in class, right, no phones. Okay, show me, and they don't have a clue. So now they're shortcutting that, and then they get to the test. And then the universities are going, oh, we have to like lower the standards. And it's like, I mean, she's at university and there's kids that don't like algebra 2. They don't know it. That's something that you should have learned in the 5th, 6th, 7th grade, something like that.
Yeah. But
because you don't need to know it. You just ask AI.
Yeah.
But then now AI is starting to spit out what AI wants to tell you, maybe not facts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be listeners that blow us up on this because they know more about it than we do. But
no, dude, it's just wild. The way that it's going to change. And like Elon's big play is the robots.
Yeah.
So the whole reason why, at least this has been my theory for a very long time. I'm like a massive computer tech nerd.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time like in that world.
That explains the beard.
Forever, bro. Forever, I've said to people, I'm like, Elon does not give a fuck about electric cars. What Elon gives a fuck about is all of the data that comes in from the cars, the conversations in the cars, the sensors, every single thing that is going on inside the cars is data that they're using to train their AI. And all of the robots that they're using, you have to train those things on real world data, right? Like you can have a factory where you build your robots, and if you try and train them inside inside your factory, it's just not gonna give you the same result, right? So how long have Teslas been on the road? Like Elon wins the AI race 100% because he has so much data. Like they didn't teach Teslas how to stop at stop signs. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Teslas taught themselves to stop at stop signs.
Oh.
Do you know how?
No.
Human behavior. So they're literally just...
They, like all the data acquisition, then said, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, Tucker did a show where he had one of the guys that's one of the top robot people on. And this is probably, I think I was driving to Texas, so it was either earlier this year or last year. They have like they're like R&D robots that literally can like fold your laundry, yours, clean your house, like how it knows what to clean and not. That totally replaces a human already. And they're like, yeah, maybe another couple of years we'll have some working models out. And that's, you know, I mean, all you got to do is watch, what was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the Terminator. And it's like,
yeah. Dude, it's crazy. Like, there'll be a fucking robot. The day that one comes out and I can buy one, there'll be a robot sitting right there doing all the shit, looking shit up. Like,
or even at that, there'll be a program that Just says, you're like, you walk in and go, all right, we're going to do a show.
Yeah.
And it just fires up the cameras and everything and like
We're
knows how to edit
Yeah.
in your style of editing because it's had all the data acquisition for every Gypsy Tales show that you've done, and it'll just take and do it.
Yeah. We're
Right?
so close, bro. Like, I can't even explain to you how fucking... Like, I'm working on it now all the time. Just like building and building and building with
dude.
all... It's...
I'm 54. I want to be out on a farm somewhere, maybe in Texas or someplace, and I just want to watch it happen from the front porch.
That's my goal too, but I think that helps me get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that helps me buy the big old farm in Australia, and I'll be riding everywhere.
Where would you go in Australia?
I want to buy... I mean, I'm like actively looking if anyone fucking knows, but I want to buy like 400 acres.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. I want to buy
House right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No like screens on the windows, right? Where, yeah.
Right. 400 acres, 500 acres. If it backs onto national forest, perfect.
Right.
And build a house in the middle, put a house over there for my parents, put another house over there. Like, to have like 4 or 5 houses on this thing. And not like houses, like,
Yeah.
little 2-bedroom.
Some sort of structure.
Yeah, just little deals that people can live in. Track, big old greenhouse, bunch of cattle, horses, goats.
Oh, dude, if it was Jessica, she'd have if I said you could have 20 dogs, she would have 20 dogs tomorrow.
Really?
Oh yeah. We just moved into a new place and I said, "Hey, when we get the new place, you can get another dog."
How many have you got now?
So we have 2 now because we have a puppy, and then it's kind of 2.5 because Elvis goes to my ex-wife's, spends time with me, spends time with my ex-wife. So we finished moving in on a Sunday. Monday morning, I start an Alive Worldwide motorcycle tour. And Friday morning, I come home, and she goes, "Hey, can you be home by 10?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be home probably right around then." And I go in, and big dog Butters is huge, like Great Pyrenees German Shepherd. He jumps on me. I like take him out back real quick. He gets all excited. She goes, "Hey, Butters got you something. Will you come in the living room and sit on the couch?" But then normally sit on the sofa means we got to have a talk.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, oh, shit, what do we need to talk about,
What I do?
And I come in and there's a puppy sitting there, a little bow on her. It's like, I was gone Tuesday. She goes, "Yeah, I got her on Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe something like that."
Going 2
So,
days.
but if I gave her the go ahead, oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want a bunch of horses, bunch of cows, fucking dogs, whole thing.
Horses are actually, we had horses 10 years ago. My ex-wife and daughter had horses. I didn't mind it. It's kind of peaceful. Certain stuff comes along with it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think if you got a big old farm,
If you've got the land and the funds, go for it,
dude. Because I feel like the podcast will be like, you want to do the pod, I'll be like, oh yeah, cool. I'll like ship you all the shit, and then I'll just like ship you a briefcase. You'll pop it up. Then there'll be like a VR headset. They'll be like, okay, just scan yourself, and it'll just look like you. It'll look like me, and we'll just sit locked in, and it will be in like a fully virtual environment. We won't know.
So it's to be setting at the beach, but we're in someplace like this.
Yeah, no.
Like,
you'll be at your house, in your office, or wherever the fuck you want to do it. Doesn't matter what you could do it completely butt ass naked, but you'll be wearing like VR, so it'll look.
Well, that'd be great for ratings.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, it'll look exactly the same like this, and then that's how it'll be doing. So I'll be fucking gone. But it'll.
What's your thought on if a racing championship wanted to do remote broadcast, like with play-by-play and color commentator?
F1 does that.
Yeah, I know they do stuff like that. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
You're fine with it?
Dude, does this feel any different than the last time we did the podcast?
No, but we're not at an event.
Yeah, I just think...
I wouldn't... It's so much different being at the event.
Yeah, I don't know, like... Because especially if you've got like the sound coming through and you've got some crowd noise, I think the biggest thing would be that if you can't like hear the crowd noise because like your
Yeah.
voice commentating is elevated to a level because you're
Yeah.
speaking over bikes and crowd.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're getting that feed into you, and you're like having to lift your voice in that same way, like I honestly think it'd be fine.
I did the Canadian Motocross Championship last year. David Pingree, Rick Johnson came on for a show or two, and we did the events from Pingree's studio in Temecula, California.
How was it?
But the races were in Canada. And like we had some technical issues. Like I think it was the first race of the year. We lost our video for like the first minute of the very first race. So we can hear, but we don't even know what's going on. Whereas if you're there, maybe somehow you'd have the opportunity to know, you know. So
you think that's where it's going to go?
I sure hope not. Like I like the travel, and there's just not like in my position, if I'm playing the role of the analyst, I'm the expert. But like when we did the Canadian races, like I have never been and still haven't been to any of those tracks yet. I'm the expert on the broadcast. You know, we got hired to do the job, and we did the best that we could with what we were given. But it was a really difficult, thing to actually execute that way. I wouldn't want to do. If like Supercross or anybody approached me about doing something like that, I don't think I would do it that way again.
Yeah. I don't think that. I mean, I just don't think that it'll have to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if they're racing there, like what's to say that you can't? But I know that F1 does some stuff.
I mean, it's all budget
Remote.
stuff with things like that,
Yeah.
But
and I think
hopefully
it's just like scheduling, travel time. Like you've got people come from all over the world.
Travel is the work part of what we do, and then when we get to events, that's like we'll do this for fun. We'll pay you to do this part, but they got to pay you to travel. Yeah. Right. Because I mean, let's face it, doing the broadcast and things like that. Yes, it's work and you have responsibility and all this, but man, it's so fun. Like it's doing the events that I've done in my career is just like. The weekends are the best, Mm-hmm. The travel sucks.
The travel does suck. So have you enjoyed the time doing the World Supercross stuff for that reason? Like you've got to go to some cool spots. Yeah,
I feel like the opportunity came about for Ralph Shaheen and I to become a team again. Kristen Beat, who obviously we're super close with now. The three of us work really well together.
She's awesome, eh?
Yeah, she's great. And we enjoy doing the travel and the sort of the journey that each race is different, and it's so much better, like because you mentioned the crowd earlier, like you just feed off of the crowd, and it's like the energy from the live event, like you feel it when the race is happening, and especially if you're like, if it's like an open air booth, like. I mean, but I enjoy the travel side of it too. I enjoy going to these new places. Yeah, because like in America, I mean, I did Monster Energy Supercross 12 or 13 years, and I did pro motocross for most of those years in the early days. You're going to a lot of the same places every year, which is great because you know the right restaurant, you know the right hotel, right? You know the routine. But,
routine is exactly what it becomes.
Yeah, but this opportunity with World Supercross where everything's kind of new again, new venues, new cities, right? You're going all over the world, essentially. And it seems like it's just really interesting, you know? I mean, it's been the first 3 years is a little bit rough. I don't know if I'll be back again for next season. I hope that we all get to keep doing what we're doing, and we have the team with Ralph and Kristen or whoever else they want to bring in or whatever they're going to do. I guess we'll see shortly. So,
what do you think about this series in general? Like, what does World Supercross have to do
the championship?
Yeah, like what does it have to do right to make it what they want it to be?
Who wants it to be?
World Supercross, like like they have a goal and they have a vision. What do they have to do to make that vision come true, do you think?
I would say one of the most important things is getting the number of events up as soon as possible, right? 2 races, 3 races, 4 races in that zone. Like it's like, is this a triple crown? You know what I mean? So I feel like that, and there's just so much newness. Every year has been like something new. And so now with Tom and Louisa and the entire team, it's like, okay, now you're in your second year. There's a clear path. Listen to the show with Tom. Obviously, he's got some very strong convictions with whether it's coming from ownership and what they need to do. Clear idea of what the industry and the stakeholders in the industry, how they think about the championship. And so there's a little bit of having to get dug out of a hole. But I would say the number one thing is to, if you say you're going to do this many races, do that many races, but also get that number of races up to where it's an acceptable number as being a legit championship, right? What's that number? I'd say 8 or 10 people are feeling comfortable that, okay, this is a championship series that, number of races and all that.
And where do you see it fitting into like the global landscape of Supercross racing?
Well, I think that there are riders that accelerate at motocross and some do at Supercross, right? Like you take a Supercross and some of these European riders, he don't want to go ride GPs. He wants to ride Supercross. And that you might just see a split. Some riders might do both. Some riders may just start to specialize a little more in just riding Supercross. And if they had the opportunity, let's say you ride Supercross here in America for 5 months, take a few months off, World Championship starts up later, In the business side of things, that's probably why Feld and MX Sports sort of positioned the SMX playoffs where they did, is to sort of keep those dates, and you have to ride some motocross to keep the dates. But there's going to be certain riders in the future that want to ride motocross and certain riders that want to ride Supercross. But I will say that in these last 3 years, from the positioning and where World Supercross, what they were starting to be about, in America, they definitely got their shit together. And the entire racing championship from Supercross, Motocross, SMX is in a great place. And it's been great for the riders, and frankly, the fans love it too. So
yeah. What was the experience doing the series last year?
Last year on the TV side, things were great. We had another new sort of production side of things.
Yeah. In
the first couple of years, there were a lot of moving parts. Like 1 week we'd have a producer, next week was somebody else, like things like that. There's going to be more changes in the future for this season. And like I said, hopefully I'm a part of it, part of the pieces that are staying in place. But there is so much more that the teams need to execute. And this new team is basically, last year, some of the leadership people hadn't even been to a Supercross until the first event. That was their own event that they were the leader, the head of. So a lot of newness, but also a lot of new ideas and a lot of new energy with people that are extremely intelligent and driven.
Yeah.
Maybe driven for their own careers, but with that, they have this clear goal that ownership has and what they want to do with it. And I mean, so here's sort of my analogy is, if World Supercross goes and spreads the word of World Supercross, it's literally going to raise all of the boats, right? And my sort of analogy is I was a very casual, like, soccer, world football fan. Like, maybe the World Cup was on, I'd be like, oh, I don't even know it was on today. Whoever was playing, I didn't even know any of the names. When David Beckham came to America to play for the Galaxy, which is my team, by the way, I watched some local programming from like KTLA 5 or something, and there was this like 30-minute or hour-long special on Beckham. And he was so passionate about the game and this, and it's like, man, he's this. I mean, I knew who David Beckham was before he came to the Galaxy, right? But this guy was so passionate about kicking this ball around, and the more that you learn about him, like he absolutely just has loved the sport, and he's
his whole
he's
life.
A real guy. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And that made me want to watch the Galaxy, right? Which, I mean, this was 25 years ago, probably, whenever that was.
No one gave a fuck
about MLS.
soccer in America.
No, not at all. Started going to games and whatnot, and then because of that, Dobbs like, oh, you want real football? You got to come to England. That's where the best football is played, right? Jamie Dobbs, super close, right?
Yeah. He's a good dude. Hey?
You got to have him on sometime.
I know. I definitely need to.
Yeah.
I actually he was shooting a movie in Abu Dhabi when I was living in Dubai, and there was like a day where I almost got to like go and hang out with him, but I just couldn't. I couldn't swing it. But he's such a cool.
Great.
He's such a cool guy.
So he's super like pro England, right? Everything British, like
in it.
And so, but because of that, he's like, oh, you got to learn about the Premier League. Well, what's the Premier League?
That's crazy.
Manchester United. I think I've heard of that. Right?
So you knew about that. You knew about the Galaxy before you even knew about.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You know, I kind of knew what a World Cup was, things like that. But then, because of David Beckham coming to America, I am now full blown Liverpool, like ride or die. Jaggers, Man City, his best buddy's Man United, his best buddy's dad's Tottenham, my buddy Pete is Chelsea. Every weekend we're like full on, right? We don't have one for Ralph Shaheen yet. He's Wrexham.
Yeah, okay.
They're not quite there yet. They're working their way up.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I'm full on, and it was like, then I went to a match at Chelsea. It's like, what's this Champions League thing they talk about, right? I didn't even know what that was. Right now, I'm just like full on. Beckham coming to America is why I'm a Liverpool fan to this day. And that if World Supercross goes to Cape Town or Brazil or Kuala Lumpur, and there's some kid that sees Eli Tomac and they want to know more, well, wait, this isn't the only race that he does? Well, where does Eli Tomac race? Oh, he races Monster Energy Supercross. What's motocross? Oh, it's this other thing that's kind of like that, but different. And then they're going to find that. They're going to find their American Championship, or they're going to find MXGP because World Supercross brought it to their doorstep. And that's what happened with me and David Beckham and why I watch world football.
100%. Perfect analogy.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to do. It's going to take motorcycle, dirt bike racing into cities, and people are going to see it, and it's going to go all over the world. And in turn, you know, I know the business side of things are, it gets competitive, but it's probably going to be better for everybody in the motorcycle industry if this championship is successful.
I couldn't agree more.
So,
yeah, I think you honestly nailed it. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brunt Workwear, and I have got the brand new Marin boot here to show you guys right now. Over the last couple of years, I just wanted to get rid of doing the sneaker thing. They're not waterproof. They got super dirty, and I would end up with track shoes. I wanted to be able to rock some boots. I just made a lot more sense to wear boots. So I've switched to wearing boots, and now I've switched to wearing these Brunt boots. There's a super short break-in period, and they're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're slip and oil resistant, they're heat resistant, and they're electrical hazard rated. A lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, you're on job sites, you run a machinery, and you actually really need and test all of these features every single day. So now you can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable out of the box as your sneakers, and over 500,000 customers agree. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off a Brunt by using the code GYPSYGANG at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code GYPSYGANG and you are all set. And even better, Brunt will let you try this work boot risk-free on the job site. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show by telling them that the Gypsy Gang sent you. Yeah, like you said, rising tide floats all boats, and I had an experience when I was in Vietnam. We do these, shout out Vietnam motorbike tours. We do these rides, my family and I, across Vietnam. We've done like 3 of them. Oh, it's the fucking best, bro. It's so much fun. So you just get on like it's called a Lython. It's like a 150cc like Harley. It's like a Chinese thing. Dude, you know when
it's like a 150 Harley?
Yeah, bro, legit. Yep. You know when you go to go-karts and you're on some slow-ass go-karts, but you can just fucking
it's
hold it.
like a Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah, you can just hold it flat the entire track. Everyone's kind of going the same speed. That's basically what this is on motorcycles on some of the most insane roads you've ever seen in your life. I'm talking 3,000 turns a day kind of vibe, right? But so we're in the fucking back of Vietnam, dude. Middle of nowhere. And there's kids that are on their moped scooters. Full Repsol, sticker kit, Monster Energy down the side. And they hear us coming, right? And you can see them. They race out of their little houses. No shoes, no shirt. They jump, no helmet. They jump on these scooters, dude. And they're like fully leaning, like trying to drag their knee on the ground and shit. Like they are MotoGP fans.
Yeah.
So there's this cultural thing all over the world around 2 wheels that Americans don't quite understand.
Yeah.
Because for most of the world, they don't drive cars.
Yeah.
America's very, very, America, Europe, like the Western world is very car centric. Yeah. The rest of the world is not car centric at all. They're 2-wheel fans.
Yeah, and that may be where there is some enormous growth. I mean,
100%.
30% of the off-road motorcycles sold worldwide are sold in North America. So that means there's another 70% sold elsewhere. And so there's probably all these untapped markets, right? So I guess the opportunity for World Supercross is to go places and build, create that, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I mean, look at where you could go to any small town and crazy places on the weekends and they're watching Formula One and MotoGP, but and you don't even necessarily sell those bikes.
Yeah.
Our bikes are a little closer to the consumer model type of thing too. So, and what's interesting too, and I know this from my own experience, but on those last couple of shows I was saying I was watching with Tom and Christian.
Yeah.
Like Christian's like, look, when I'm talking to all these other like pro athletes and everybody like Supercross, Motocross, they're like, this is the gnarliest thing ever, right? Motorsports athletes have a tremendous amount of respect for the Supercross and Motocross racers because they go, holy shit, those guys don't even have a roll cage. We got Hans devices and like they're going 200 miles an hour. Crashes can be bad and deadly, but they go, wow, the Supercross guys, like, I mean, you could go get in a 2-up car or even at MotoGP ride 2-up, right, and go around the track.
Yeah.
You ain't doing that in our sport.
No.
There's no 2-up rides.
No.
You know what I mean? It's too gnarly that way. And I really...
Yeah, it's not possible.
It's not possible, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it. I've been on the back of a bike with Jack Miller. And
so,
it's actually a thing you can do.
Yeah, and so let's say that we wanted to, well, we don't have Fontana anymore, but let's say that you and I show up for like an arrive and drive. We could go drive a Formula One, old Formula One car, NASCAR, something around Daytona or whatever, and we can go do 160 miles an hour, and we can go do it, right? And I'm not trying to downplay the significance once you get into the upper levels. It's super gnarly. We know all of it is. But with motocross, like, yeah, good luck going out to the celebrity race at the SMX final. Those guys get busted off all the time. It's like, and even, you can't just go do it. And, somebody like me, I've been doing this my whole life. I don't even want to go do it anymore, though.
You're literally a champion.
Yeah, and it's like, no, we were walking around Indy Supercross one year, first practice, Ralph and I would go walk around the edge of the track, and that is a football stadium, NFL stadium. And so the track is built right to the edge of the stadium. It basically takes up the entire floor. And Ralph and I are walking, let's say this is 2017 or something. And we're watching, and I stopped. I go, this is fucking nuts, dude. I go, there's got to be a better way to make a living. And he's looking at me like, dude, this is what you do. And I'm like, it just hit me. And so then as a broadcaster, it reaffirms sort of my admiration for the athletes that are out there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is great about our sport, motocross, supercross combined, is that what I've seen over my lifetime is that you've got action sports over here that's got all this character, and it's flamboyant and personality, and you see like personal style of how someone does whatever sport they have, and just oozing out personality. And then in motorsports over here, you've got all these amazing motorsports that have this machine that has technology and performance and can fail and hurt you possibly. It seems like Supercross is right in the middle of those.
Yes.
And
It's
all
both
of these
those
people,
things.
like when we had a George Russell
Yeah.
in Abu Dhabi, or who was it? Came to Indy Supercross one year. Anyway, a MotoGP star, right? And then the action sports people, or like the stick and ball sports, and then they all come to Supercross and go, dude, they get blown away.
Yeah.
So my point of trying to get, it's taken me a while. You notice, it's a good thing this is a long show. It takes me a while to get.
This is great.
Takes me a while to get to my destination on my thoughts. But the point is that if all of the top Formula One, MotoGP people think this is the coolest shit ever, and you got all the action sports people and everybody think this is the coolest shit ever, and you've got, celebrity entertainment, all of our friends that are in music and acting and whatever they're doing, and I think this is the coolest shit ever. So what's its true potential?
Yes.
From where it's at now? So
and where's the disconnect right now? You know what I mean?
From it being at the level of MotoGP or F1. That's probably the easiest comparison or gauge, right? The mark on the wall of, okay, why is Supercross here and MotoGP's here and F1's here? So we need to figure out those things, and not meaning we, but the really smart people. They need to figure out what it is, what's the magic thing that's going to take it. Because, you watch all these old movies and stuff about F1 and things like this, and they were, it was a mess in the 70s, right? And Bernie Ecclestone, and then what they did, and like self-promoting races and risking everything, and like, people better show up this weekend or F1's done. We're not quite in that place, but somehow they figured out some sort of formula. And so for Supercross, motocross, if we receive so much admiration and respect from all these different groups of successful industries and quality human beings, what's it going to take for it to get to MotoGP or F1 level?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, bro, couldn't agree more. You couldn't have said it better. And like, that's literally my mission. Like, that's literally what I'm trying to do, is just include all of those people and just like get the messaging across, because it's crazy for me. Like, I went to I guess it would have been Barcelona F1. So it was when Danny was driving for McLaren. Yeah. And so I roll in, I'm with him the whole weekend. And dude, every fucking mechanic, everyone stopped me. And was just like, dude, what? I can't believe you're here. Like, this is unreal. Dude, I love the show. Love Supercross. Where's Tomac going next year? I was blown away.
Yeah, so it was Marquez that came to one of the Supercrosses. I was still doing broadcast. Yeah. So I'm in the gym in the morning on like a Saturday morning. And he rolls up on the thing. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Like, we're chatting. We just came in. We're going to COTA or whatever, and
Yep.
so we came in early to go to the race.
Yeah, they all love it. They went to Austin this year, and I was there with Jack. Fabio Quartararo walks in, previous world champion. He's like, dude, talking about Supercross race. Like, all of these guys froth it. There's a bunch of big dudes in the UFC. Watch it every single weekend.
Yeah.
So there is a disconnect because those people aren't involved. Supercross isn't leveraging any of those people. There's no inclusion of those kind of people. Like, whatever, that there is some kind of disconnect, right? To where those people aren't a part of our sport in the way that they should be. Like Vince Vaughn, Matt LeBlanc. Like, there's all of these people that are involved or like massive fans of Supercross that just like Dax Shepard. Like, there's all these guys. And
every time, so I know Matt LeBlanc, every time, like I see him, which I haven't seen him in a while now, but it's just like,
just chatting away at it.
Seen him at like Laguna Seca, and he's like just talking Supercross the whole time, right? Just the ultimate fan. And it's like, so how do you leverage that respect and admiration that person has and their significance in pop culture and celebrity and all those sort of things to attract more friends? So here's your segue here with Vince Vaughn. I showed you earlier today a little teaser sizzle of the new documentary that Jeremy McGrath and I have partnered on called Moto 90s. And we actually have Vince Vaughn is going to be our narration. That's
wild.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I had no idea.
Yeah. So you haven't heard about it at all? Like, no. Yeah. So it's been all on the underground.
It's really good.
So, and
really?
that was just the teaser, right?
Yeah.
That was a little sales sizzle that you've seen. And so it's going to be interesting. Jeremy and I, we've already sat down and did our big sit-down interviews, and they've collected interviews from 20 more people, or, they've got all the footage and stuff. But for the fans that haven't heard about this, so a few years back, I started working with Adam Barker. He wanted to do a documentary on my career. And then we kind of kept going through this. Okay, what's the script? What's the script?
What's the real story here?
So to me, it was like, what's the biggest story? And I'll say this in that Supercross needs their Days of Thunder moment, right? And there's been some films and some Disney, movies and things like that. But
Channing Tatum, bro.
But we haven't hit. Yeah, we just haven't. It hasn't hit on a big, on the big screen and really moved the needle. And so when we were talking about it, he says, well, the biggest story in like the 90s was the rivalry between you and Jeremy. And we kept talking, and then it was like, it just became apparent that we should reach out to Jeremy and see if he'd be interested in the project. Well, he happened to meet up with Lawrence Lewis, who helped produce and film and everything. Steel Roots was Jeremy's roommate back in the day. Happened to see Adam, seen him like a couple days later. He said, yeah, we kind of been working on something. So then the four of us got together, said, hey, what do you think if we take what you're doing and we take what we're working on, and we pool our efforts, and here's the storyline. And everybody agreed that this seems like the right time to do this, right? And Jeremy and I were at a race at Majora Park last year, and we done with dinner, right? We grabbed some glasses of wine, and we both were like, hey, if we do this, we gotta like tell it like it was, like don't pull any punches. We're each gonna say shit that each other doesn't like, and we're all good now, but let's tell everybody like it was, and let's be as real and honest as we can, and then we can have a compelling film. So kind of Moto 90s is the working title right now, and it's basically Jeremy and I's rivalry, but then the subplot is everything else. Like you saw on the teaser, the madness that was Supercross and Motocross and Crusty Demons of Dirt and Terra Firma and Glamis and Club Rubber and just all the nonsense that was. That's just what we did. That was life for us. And so we're going to try to bring all that together with unbelievable interviews and commentary and editing to give people to take them back to the 90s and show them what it was like. And Jeremy and I, like, we both were like 100% honest about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our producer, Adam Barker, and Lawrence Lewis, everybody, they're like, dude, we've got it. Now we got to deliver it. So
it's awesome, dude. Like I watched it in the shower. Well, I'm like washing my hair. I'm like fucking cut the thing.
I know you were running late. I'll take it. You were running late.
Yeah, I was in a rush. I'm like, fuck, I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, got straight home, watched the bikes, like put it on, and I was like, dude, this is unreal. And I could tell from what. It's not like there was a lot in there to give away, but I was like, fuck, they're actually like kind of saying this shit how it is. Because like you've done the pod, Jeremy's done the pod. Neither of you really went in on like how it really was. And I feel like there's
a lot of honesty that came out in both from both of us.
That's what it takes, dude.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is from like the team managers and the close friends and people around is there was we race against a lot of other unbelievable champions and winners and guys that we respect, guys that are friends and all that sort of stuff, but we just kind of had that rivalry where we were so focused on each other. And I didn't appreciate that. Trust me, I got my ass whooped 72 Supercross. Well, I wasn't there for all 72 of his wins, but at least 60 of them I was on the track, right? Yeah. 65 of them, right? And when it's your rival like that, and I fucking hated the guy. Well, he felt the same way about me, right? And
because you smoked him outdoors.
Yeah, it gets all in the weeds, but we tell it all in the documentary, open and honest and raw. And I didn't always appreciate it. I didn't look back on some of that stuff with like where I sit today, but I watched this documentary with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and their rivalry, and then their friendship that they had afterwards, right? Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe. And when I watched those two documentaries is when I started to appreciate that I was fortunate enough to have this adversary, or to be able to live, like I got to live this, because how many other Supercross racers don't have that ultimate rivalry where you're battling for the very top spot. Like, we're actually really fortunate that we had each other and that we had that moment in that time period where it forced us, we forced each other to like see what our true potential was. How far can you actually go with yourself? And when you start to develop this rivalry and just like, I mean, I used to wake up in the morning, put my running shoes on, or I'd run in the heat of the day, and I used to like to have a speed bag, so I had a speed bag. There were multiple times that a picture of McGrath was on the wall. So I'm hitting the speed bag, and I just got back from my 35-minute run. It's 105 degrees out, and I'm hitting the speed bag, and it's like, not this weekend, motherfucker. You know, like that type of, like, that's where you're at. And it's like you go
deep and dark.
Oh, so much further than what you thought was possible, you know? So, like I said, I didn't always appreciate that I was in that place at that time, but I certainly do now.
Oh, man, I'm so glad to hear that. Like, from my perspective, I mean, it made the sport, you know? Like, I grew up in that era. Yeah. I was watching you guys, and, you know, you were there.
You were watching Jeremy. I was on the podium. But you would see me at the end of the race.
But every hero, but you know what I mean? Like, every hero needs that anti-hero. Like, how much better was Jeremy McGrath because of you? You know, and how much better were you because of Jeremy?
And how much value did it add to everything? Some of the championships that I won? You know, imagine if I'd won a Supercross title in '97 and Jeremy had been injured. You know, or he was on the Suzuki, but, you know, that year their bike wasn't that good and, like, nobody won. Well, he won some races, and he finished second in the title. So and that's what was crazy. When it got to the end, and I actually I crashed and hurt my leg with a few races to go, and he started catching some points. And it was like, dude, not again. Like, I can't let him win it again, type of thing. Like, you're just like, this is my year.
Yeah.
And then, and it was when I won the Supercross title, like, I look at the pictures as I'm on the podium, and I think it was Rhino and Bradshaw were on the podium, and it was kind of like across the finish line, and I was just kind of in a daze for a while, and I go back to the truck, and my family's there, and everyone's, and I was literally just in a daze. And I remember I was up in the rider locker area, and Bruce Ernstrom, who was the team manager at the time, he walks up with a couple of Budweisers. He likes Budweiser, and he sets these Budweisers down, and he kind of like hits me on the leg and goes, "God damn it, you fucking did it!" And when he did that, like, I literally kind of came out of my deal, because especially racing against McGrath during that time period, it was like, dude, we all were hoping that we could win it, but dude, it's like he won every year. And then it always seemed so far out of reach until that moment. And then it was like I kind of woke up, like, holy shit, we just won the Supercross title, And the fact that it was because it was that time period for me personally, and even the rivalry that we had and all that, it gave it so much meaning. It's just so, it's just, it was worth all of the blood, sweat, and tears to get there.
Mate, I can't even imagine. Like, there's just nobody could beat the guy.
I mean, I would say that, like, if you had polled every mechanic or team manager, top line podcaster, media guy, like, who can beat McGrath in a Supercross championship, who's going to win in 97, even though I'd won motocross, so maybe I'd kind of up my odds were getting better, but I probably wasn't going to be the first pick. You're going to maybe thought Lusk or Wyndham or some, because I know it sounds silly to say, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but, like, I just never felt like I really came into my own with Supercross. I just felt like I struggled so much. I mean, I had some races where I felt like I rode amazing and I felt great and I deserved the win and, like, all these sort of things. But, like, I never had the dominance in Supercross like I had in motocross.
What was it? Like, what do you think it was?
It seems like excuses, but it's like, this is my lived experiences. Like, I always had problems with the lighting. My eyes watered a lot.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that.
My eyes watered a lot. I tape up my goggles now even because I don't like airflow. It'll make my eyes water.
Yeah.
I can remember that being an issue. I always did.
Hey, to back you up on this, my fucking eyes water so bad when I do long motos. I go out to Glen Helen, and when I was training to do the World Vets out there, and I was just doing 20 after 20 after 20, man, I'm like blinking my eyes to try and get...
sweat, but like...
No, my eyes water.
So maybe if there's an optometrist out there, like, maybe my eyes were straining or something.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, but,
I get
no
the
excuses.
exact same thing. So
97, I didn't have as much issues, so was it a real excuse or whatever? Who knows? But, just that, I just never really felt like I had the dominance like I did in motocross.
And so did it not happen outdoors? Like your eyes watering? Yeah, that's wild.
I mean, I always did better when, like, the hotter the race.
Yeah, the hotter. It was probably
the more my win percentage got much higher.
Yeah.
When it got cold, we were doing races in Europe and, Bear Sea and stuff like that, and you're sitting around all day freezing your ass. I was like, okay, go, main event. Gate drops, and it's like you go from sitting in a chair to just, And certain guys like Jeremy, he really just, he thrived on that. It was kind of like the old Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. It just all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
but Jeremy's a freak, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and even, I mean, you've been around him. He's just the coolest motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, his personality even is just built for Supercross.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, even, you see him today walk into Angel Stadium. He fucking owns that building.
Oh, he knows that's his spot. Yeah.
Dude, he just goes there. He's the coolest fucking guy. He's having some beers. He's jumping on the comment. Like, nothing phases that guy. And that's personality as well.
Well,
you know?
yeah. And just those surroundings, he just seemed like, okay, but like I get the red bud, it's on.
I was going to say,
like,
that's
no
the same.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And maybe that's just the difference of when you just start to get to the top and there's just little nuances that just, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like the 1%ers. And they're like intangibles. You know, like you kind of just can't teach it. And, you know, you can be... You're around Jet on a race day. Like, I've seen him like super locked in a couple of times to where Vegas SMX the first year, I guess, second year, I can't remember. Fuck. No, yeah, for the first year, because I've only done Vegas the one time. Bro, the look he had in his eyes that day, he was fucking deep.
Yeah.
He really wanted to win that shit. You know, but then you're around him on just a normal kind of race, like, bro, you would not even think he's fucking there to ride. Man, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even doing the broadcast, you don't really. The riders only let you in a certain amount,
yeah.
Right? You don't really get to know the guys any more than what you do on social media and stuff, right? But a few years back, it was. Cooper Webb had won the Supercross title in Salt Lake. It was the 21. Night that him and Kenny were like battling super close. And we go out night after the race. Had a good time. Let's just leave it at that. So next morning, I'm like, I come down from my room in the hotel and like, man, I've got to go get some food. Like, I'm a little dehydrated. Like, I need to straighten out a little bit.
I had 6 or 9 beers.
Yeah. And I see Cooper Webb and his whole crew, right? Bro, what's up? I'm like, dude, I'm hungover like a motherfucker. Like, you're coming with us. And I don't really know Cooper Webb that well, right? And it's like, all right, I guess I'll just roll with you guys. So I went with him and the whole group for the day. I tapped out at 5:30 p.m. I was supposed to be on a flight at 5:30, but I'm like, I'm staying, dude.
Yeah.
He went and shot some Red Bull interview thing at some house with Wes and the whole crew. And so I was kind of fly on the wall, and I'm kind of getting to know all of Cooper Webb's inner circle.
Yeah.
And it was great. And one of the mechanics was there. I forget the guy's name. So I'm like, so what's this person do? Who's that? And it was like, this guy just won his second title, right?
Yeah.
And his inner circle, it was just like giving him as much shit. Like, nobody was swinging from his nuts. It was awesome to see him in his state. And we bar hopped. Come on, Fro, you're not leaving. You're going with us. And I'm like, all right, let's just, you know. And it was really interesting to see him just be ground. He just won Supercross title, but he was Coop and just how he related with all of his friends, and that was almost like part of his success too, is that all of his buddies and
dude, some crazy shit. I'm not never gonna tell. I need to wait for Coop to tell the stories, but fuck, dude, there are some crazy stories of that year.
Yeah, there was the one guy, and I forget the guy's name. Pretty outspoken, and it was like a mechanic. So they were they had like maybe some sort of residency, or they had done
it was
a bunch
at Salt Lake when they did the residency.
No,
right?
but this wasn't that. No, that would have been like
Dallas,
the year before.
The Arlington Salt.
Oh, there was at one point where they had done a race, and Cooper was going back to Florida. We got to go back and test. And the one buddy is a mechanic, and it was like, hey, I need you to come down to Baker's because I need a mechanic because we're going to test tomorrow. And he's like, I don't fucking work for losers. You want to get your head out of your ass? Then I'll help you. But if you're going to keep doing what you've been doing, not interested, dude. And so there was like, I was hearing like, what? It's like one of his best friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, not a bunch of yes men around. Like, one of his best friends is like, dude, if you want to get your head out of your ass and actually be champion, then, and you want to put out that effort. And it was like, that's what's like, Carmichael's group was like that too. all the guys from Tallahassee and stuff, they were very much like, yeah, you may be the winner on Saturday, but when you come back to Tallahassee, you do your work just like everybody else. And it was a really important part of his success was not having a bunch of, people around that were just hanging on. And
that's why Carmichael gives people a lot of shit, and it gets taken as he's an asshole. It's like, no, he's just that guy. Like, that's the environment that he's been around. Like, I've just got friends that are exactly like that. It is, we have this, like, a group chat with our boys, and dude, like, we say, like, leave your feelings out of this group chat. If you have any feelings, you can't be here. Like, one of our buddies sends, he's a fucking absolute idiot. He's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, property developer, right?
Yeah.
And he sends us, I met him on that Vietnam trip. So anyway, he sends us a picture. He's fucking retired now. He's 38 or something like that, 42, whatever the fuck he is. Retired. And just nothing to do all day. He's got 3 kids. All he does is take a mountain bike riding and motorbike riding. He sends us a selfie in a teddy bear hoodie. Like, it's like a onesie hoodie thing.
Onesie, yeah.
Yeah. And, dude, the group chat lit this fucking dude up for like 5 hours, bro. I said to him, I was like, if you had a boyfriend on the side, you would send this selfie to his mum. And the boys, everyone, bang, 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 bang. If you don't have friends like that, you don't have friends, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You live in like a weird kind of reality. And it worries me in this generation of riders that there's a lot of guys that don't have that.
Oh, like, you should see what it's like to be friends with Ricky Carmichael. Like when
dude,
we're like,
yes. When all the
we used to, well, when we started the banter, when he joined the broadcast and he'd dip in for 8 or 10 races, and like we fuck with each other so hard, and then we kind of started bringing it into the broadcast, and Ralph would kind of moderate it. It got to the point where fans
thought that there was a problem.
And it went so far that the bosses at Fox were like, hey, man, you guys got to back down. We're like, this is what they want. This is great, And, but yeah, it's definitely, there's sort of an honesty to that and like humility to it where, and that whole group, I mean, literally that whole group just did RC's Ultimate Summer Adventure Ride. They, Stanton and everything, they do the whole Triumph thing up there. I don't ride Triumph, so I'm not invited on the trip. But like, the guys like Scott Runsman, right, from Monza, he's on the trip, and Ray Butts from United, and like Ricky and JH. Like, you get around Ricky and JH and Padge, dude.
Right.
You better have some thick skin. Just leave your adventure bike gear on when you go to the bar at night, because you're going to need some repellent, right? But it's just, it's almost a fucked up way of showing admiration and love for your friends. You know what I mean?
Well, if you can't, it's huge in Australian culture. Like, I don't feel like it's as prevalent in America. Bro, in Aussie culture, like, you just get flamed.
Well, it is in Tallahassee, I can tell you that.
Oh, Ricky's got that shit. Like, on but dude, J-Mart was the same, RB's the same. Like, there's a certain personality type that I think excels in that environment. But like, the utility of it is, like, my dad, another bit of my dad's wisdom, he used to say, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anyone else.
Well, we used to do this Fox racing trip out to the North Shore. And we would go to Turtle Bay. We'd do like the Fox like sportswear line. We do some motocross, do some surf. And this one trip, Ricky and I, we had been traveling together, and we were rooming together, and it was on. And fairly early days of social media, somewhat. So we go in the men's room, and it's got the pisser in the men's room, and one's low, like for kids, and one's high. So I take a picture and I tag it like RC here and Fro here, and just like, and I just put it out. Like, it wasn't like just us, it was like out there in the ether, I mean, we used to just hammer each other. It was good.
Yeah, it was like, that was what was a bit disappointing when Ricky just got hammered at the start of this year with everything. I was like,
everybody's all over everybody's stuff with the broadcast stuff. It's just
but they don't know him. You know what I mean? Like, if you knew him and if you were his friend, right? If you actually knew him, you would know what he is like. So you would see those.
Oh, you mean you're talking about the Daniel Blair?
Yeah.
That was some. That's like full blown banter and yeah. Dude, I'm not going to make a judgment on that.
There's a clip. I need to find it of. It was like 2019. I hadn't seen Ricky in so long, and we go back like 10, 15 years, you know, and. As soon as I get on camera, everyone's around, and he's just like, he used to always dig at me because, like, I used to do a bunch of filming with James back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And he would just be like, dude, fucking get out. Bubba's your guy. Don't be
out. I can hear
And I'm
that.
like in front of and I haven't seen him in so long, and I'm just like excited just to see my buddy. Yeah. First thing he does is just fucking flame me in front of everybody. I was like, this motherfucker has not changed one bit. Does not care.
Yeah, for somebody that's so outspoken about bullying in schools, he has no problem doing it with his friends.
Yeah, but you should be able to bully your friends. There's like there's like you said, there's honesty in that, and there's but it's also a nice way to call people out on their bullshit. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, people sometimes need to be called out. Sometimes it's easier just to make a joke about the dumb as fuck thing that you're doing than actually sit you down and have a heart-to-heart conversation. Like, sometimes it's easier just to make a jab, and you're like, like my mate sending a selfie. Like, don't send me a fucking selfie in a hoodie, bro. Like, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, that's your buddies, right?
That's it. So
fun stuff.
The 90s thing, we got on a bit of a tangent there, which I'm completely fine with. Yeah. But I really love that you and Jeremy came together on that. How long was it till you guys like kind of even had a semblance of a friendship after racing?
I mean, you know, what's interesting about that is, you know, all of our friends were always friends, and we kind of had our moments.
You were all in the same circles.
In and out. Yeah, we were in the same circle, but certainly now, like, you know, he's 53, I'm 54, with, you know, kids and the whole shebang, and you kind of like, all right, that's just that, you know. And in a way, it might actually be kind of therapeutic for each one of us to do this film, and just kind of have it out there and know, like, okay, this is where he was at, that's where I'm at, like where I was at, you know, and like, okay, that was then. And especially if the film produces the results that we think it can and has the impact on the sport of motorcycling, off-road motorcycling, things like that, and really, like, you know, I mean, let's say, you know, it goes to the film festivals and things like that later this year, and you know, just use an example, if Netflix or Amazon or somebody wants to pick it up and it flies, that'd be great, you know, because then it'll bring the awareness up for what our sport and our industry is. Like I said, you know, we kind of need that Days of Thunder moment.
100%. And it gives context to right now, because we're about to have another insane rivalry in this sport. Yeah, like, we're about to have maybe the craziest rivalry that the sport's ever seen.
Could be, right? Yeah, I guess we're going to find out soon enough on that. But so it's Adam and the team and everybody that, you know, it's like trying to create, you know, images, acquire images that, you know, there wasn't a lot of cameras around back then.
Well, there kind of was, though. Like, looking back at some of the footage, dude, like, that it's crazy, the shit that even that I saw in the trailer. I'm like, fucking, that's wild to think that there's all of that footage somewhere.
Well, I mean, when, like, Fox was doing the Terra Firmas and Freeman and Dana Nicholson and Damian Sanders were doing the whole crusty thing. When those guys came in, they were so like we wanted to hang out and film, but we're like, dude, we're seriously going to get in trouble just for being around these guys. Like, they were dangerous. You know what I mean? But let's go film, you know, and then, you know, all of the subsequent, you know, the additional VHS films that came out after that, and just all of that behind the scenes stuff that, you know, because if you wanted to watch a race, it was on at like, you know, ESPN2 at like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, right? Like, and the race footage was everything was tape delay. You know, that race would have happened a month ago that you were watching. And then you got to see like Z50 races in our backyard.
Yeah.
Like we were literally grilling burgers and drinking Coors Lights, and Dana or somebody's like, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, we're just hanging out. Can we come over?" Yeah. And then they come over with their cameras, and that was the Z50 footage from the very first Krusty. After that, everybody had to have a Z50.
Oh, man.
And all that happened in my backyard. I used to have 4 of them. I used to have 4 Z50s, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that whole mini bike Z50 thing, it all started in my backyard. And we used to take those Z50s and we'd go camping down at Lake Havasu, and we'd take the boats and we'd take the Z50s. We had those things everywhere, dude. It was so fun. And we were like the top professional racers, but you know, that's the thing about it. Like Jet's 21 now, maybe?
Yeah.
Like the 90s was so different. I mean, we made okay money. We could buy houses and a boat and all this. We weren't driving around.
What was a good contract back then in the 90s? Like sign on.
What year?
Oh, like 94.
94, Yamaha probably paid me $250,000, $300,000. All in, I might have made $500,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is good money in the 90s.
Yeah, but it's significantly different. By the end of the 90s, every top rider had $1 million salary and $1 million championship bonus.
By the end of the 90s.
By the end of the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was the first rider to get $250,000 championship bonuses. My old business manager and agent, Dave Stevenson, negotiated those. The highest one at that point had been $150. And then I get $250. I win them both in the same year. But, you know, we were just I saw this comment from Jeremy somewhere. He was just going, you know, we were just kids, though, you know? And it's like the times were so different than what they are now, right? And there was a time where I had like $650,000 worth of checks on my desk, and my business manager's like, "Hey, did you deposit those checks?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're going to Havasu. I'll do it next week." And he's like, "Any way you can deposit those today before you leave?" And you're like, "Oh, whatever. It's funny money, you know. It's just I don't know. It's just paper." $650,000. How would that be right now? You'd be like, hell yeah, we're going to, what time's the bank close?
I'd be rushing to put
You know, you get a refund back from AT&T for like $19. You're like, hold on, I got to go to the bank on the way home, where you're taking a picture of it. You know what I mean? But back then it was like you didn't well,
what do you even need money for at a certain
not worried
point,
about
right?
It. Yeah, you know, by the mid 90s, I was making enough money to where that I could do everything that I wanted. I didn't want a big ass house. I had my boat, I had my truck, I had a sports car or something, and like that's all you needed. The rest was just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like now, the money that the individuals are making, and I was just watching this clip of Ricky talking about when Ricky Carmichael, when his agent was like, "Hey, we got an offer from Suzuki," and he's like, "Shit, I don't know if I want to ride Suzuki. How much?" $5 million. Shit, that's nuts. And he's like, "They'll never go for that." And then it's like, it calls back, "Hey, you want the good news or the bad news?" Well, there is no bad news. They agreed to it. What?
What's that a month?
$5 million. Well, it was 4.7 is what it said in the video.
I'm figuring out.
$4,700,000 per year.
That's $400,000 a month.
$400,000 a month.
Plus
right?
win bonuses every weekend. Getting
$1 million bonus probably, right?
Yep,
but
for the championship.
You know, I always thought that contract was like, we're paying you already to win the championship. So it was 4.7 win or lose, because we know that you're driven for the championship. So we'll just pay you everything up front. That's kind of how I thought of it. But still, you know.
Well, he still would have got win bonuses for the nights, I reckon.
No, I think it. I don't think it was like, here's what Ricky has done. And so this is par. So you're going to pay up front for par. in which he earned every bit of that.
Oh, for sure.
Where there was, especially after McGrath had won his first 4 championships, he wins another 3. There were so many guys that it's like, well, shit, we don't have McGrath, or later on we don't have Carmichael. Like, who's the next guy? And they got paid on potential, not actually what they delivered.
Yeah.
There were a ton of guys that were like, well, we don't have the guy, so we got to pay the guy that we think might beat the guy. And they got overpaid for what, and then you get a guy like Ricky who won a pro motocross championship every year that he raced it. Mm-hmm. Except the final year when he did a half season. And
which he
probably
won if he won
that
around.
One too. Yeah. So he earned the right to have a guaranteed contract. I've gotten pretty opinionated with certain companies I've worked with and certain riders that have their agents now that we, at around 2000 is when we really got like the super agents and guys that are getting guaranteed contracts. I could be convinced that the risk involved and the work and dedication warrants a guaranteed contract. But, guys get injured or whatever's happening. It's like, dude, the company just paid you this much, but we're not getting what we paid for. But I could be,
you can kind of see it both ways.
Yeah, I could kind of see it both ways. But, Carmichael was certainly an individual that, there was no doubt about what you were getting when you signed with him. Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
Once he hit 2000, it was like, this guy's locked in.
Apparently, Jet's extension's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is, it's pretty cool to see the sport in that place now.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of full circle what we're talking about with whether it's World Supercross going to new markets, how well MX Sports and Feld have executed the last 3 years, and everything seems really healthy. I don't know, you would have to think that with Triumph investing into off-road motorcycles, Ducati,
yeah,
right? The other brands that are your Fantic and your Betas and stuff that are sort of new to the space, and they're putting effort in. I mean, Ducati's not doing that just as a vanity thing. I'm sure it's a significant investment to develop develop a motocross bike. So maybe they're seeing something, and the disarray that KTM Group had gone through maybe is isolated to them, but yet Honda, Yamaha, everybody are willing to keep sort of pushing. And I guess that sort of just with the conversation of raising where Supercross and Motocross is at in the spectrum of, or against MotoGP and F1, what does it take to get there?
Well, I think that when you were talking,
and how do you gauge that? Do you gauge it like what's a top MotoGP guy make salary from the team?
I don't know for sure, but so what would you think it would be to win an F1 race?
To win a race?
Bonus.
Man, I'm not good on that. I don't follow F1 close enough to
guess.
really know. To win a race, it'd probably be worth a single race.
Yeah, just a bonus
to the driver.
Yeah,
I mean, I think $1 million would be.
It's under but close.
Yeah, but what are the top drivers there? Like who would you say was the highest paid driver right now?
Verstappen, yeah.
Verstappen.
Yeah. So
he's on 50-60 million a year?
Yeah,
or
probably more, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty sure that Jet Lawrence is not going to make $60 million a year from Honda.
No. So
that's our gauge of where's the sport at.
Yeah.
Right? In its growth and the number of viewers and all that stuff. So what everyone's trying to do is, while I'm here in the seat and I'm a part of this industry and sport, what are the things that we can do to move that needle, right? Because F1 wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was telling the story with Bernie Ecclestone on that, history of F1, that documentary. He was like, there was a point that, man, if we don't get 40,000 spectators today, we can't pay the bills and we're done. And that was the 70s.
Yeah. Dude, I think Spa on the weekend had 390,000 attendees over the weekend.
Yeah.
In Belgium for the F1.
which is massive. I just went to Indy 500 this year
wild.
for the first time.
Oh, sick.
Full VIP.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was
unreal.
It was, yeah, we went with Meyershank Racing, guests of them, and pit lane suite, fully catered all day long. So we were the first pit box. We were basically first and second pit box. We were basically just right there, going to pits all morning, pit lane, the full shebang. And man, we got the full police escort in with in a bus.
Yeah.
And it was like miles of traffic, and we got there at 7:30 a.m. The race didn't start till 12:45.
Oh, you were lit by the time that thing started.
It was like the traffic was insane. The race doesn't start for 5 more hours, right? 350,000 people there or whatever. But it was a great experience. Although we did, my buddy Greg Browse that I was with, I was like, our top guy was going to be Rosenquist. He was like 5th, and it was like, dude, let's bail now with 50 to go and miss all the traffic. Well, forget about the bus and the whole thing. We've already had an amazing day.
Yeah.
So we literally got like a rickshaw out to the tunnel and jumped in an Uber, and we left with like 55 laps, and we were at our hotel with like 32 to go. And they hotel, bar, restaurant. So it was like, we're already back at the hotel.
Just nailed it.
And the race was good right at the end, so we're just watching it. Yeah, it was the perfect way to sort of dip out without all the shit. But that's how Spa would have been, It's like, so it's like, will there ever be a time that, Supercross is in a place? I mean, probably not because of the the stadium sizes, but like, what if World Supercross sold out the Bernabeu? What is that? 100,000 seats, let's say. Madrid, Barcelona, one of the two. Like,
but if you sell out Arlington, or like, there's some big stadiums in America.
Yeah,
it's different.
that's true.
It's different to the Euro stuff, obviously. But like, we're never fully sell. Like, we sell out Anaheim and we sell out some of the baseball stadiums. But like,
that's 45, 50.
Yeah, if you start selling out, like AT&T and some of the bigger shit. I mean, when you were talking about World Supercross, like that's one of the things that really excites me about the series is that they can take risks to push the sport forwards in a way that Feld has just been reluctant to do. And
well, we were supposed to go. Ralph and I would, have dinner with Prater or catch him in the halls and passing, and like Ralph is always in on that. What are we doing next? Well, we're thinking about going to Europe for a couple of weeks and then coming back, or Mexico City.
But we just don't need that just never materialized. It just wasn't the right place in their business plan at that time. And that would have been a best case scenario, was to take what we're doing. But then it's like Bruce Ernstrom when he was with Kawasaki. He's like, look, you want to go race Bercy and Madrid and Japan or da-da-da-da-da. He goes, your budget, why you're paid, is to sell KX250s in America. In North America, maybe, I guess, right? U.S., Canada, Mexico. Now you want to go do a race in Paris. Okay, well, the problem is now is like I was talking to Jen from Rockstar, like, hey, you guys going to get on board with World Supercross a couple years ago? She goes, well, my problem is that PepsiCo, who owns Rockstar, our budget is to sell Rockstar in America. Yeah, they had the Husky teams and other parts, but then it's just not as easy as flipping the switch. Yeah. Because, everybody's manufacturer budgets, or even Monster Energy or somebody, your budget is here. Now we have to coordinate all of these budgets, because now these athletes that are paid out of U.S. funds and corporations, well, now we want to go do this. So you're taking the whole business plan and just flipping it upside down. And it hasn't been as quick or easy transition as what people want to just snap their fingers. Okay, yeah, they're going to go race 8 races overseas. But I don't even want that. I don't care. Like, I don't want that from them. I'm very happy to have the AMA championship be just, I don't need the...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I meant just riders going, so they're contracted here in America, but now we want them to go do this. Well, now, let's say you signed a 3-year deal, and now it's like, well, we got this offer from a team at World Supercross that will...
becomes a lot more challenging.
A lot more challenging.
But I mean, at least from me, right? Feld, I fucking have a great relationship with them.
Me too.
A lot of respect.
Yep.
A lot of love. I love going to the races. I'm very appreciative of what I get to do. Like, I get to cover that sport, and I'm fucking stoked. But it's very frustrating when it doesn't really change. Like, the Super Motocross thing, I think, was a reaction to the World Supercross, and they'd say that I've had Davey Coombs sit across and say, no, we had it in the works. And I think it's amazing for the sport that their Feld and MX Sports are together on that. My personal opinion is that Feld will buy MX Sports, or they'll buy MX Sports out of it very quickly, and maybe some changes will happen as a result of that. But, like, dude, comms. Like, why can't we have comms? Why can't we have... Like, there's no rules that ever change around anything. And it's like, why is there not a guy that is like, you know what, the holeshot device thing, there's like, they're just getting out of control. Like, if you need a fucking lever or 2 people to pull down your holeshot device, not the move. We don't need that.
If nobody has them, then nobody has an advantage.
Or just regulate it. The motorcycles are regulated to 450 cc's.
That's why
let's go 2 inches.
That was one of the things that I text you about, not the whole shot device, but
the scoop tires.
About the scoop, these new tires that are out, is about the sanctioning bodies and whoever governs the sports of having some sort of authority.
That's
it's I mean, like in NASCAR, I remember back in the days, my buddy Eddie Dickerson used to be head of R&D for Rick Hendrick.
Yep.
And he's like, here's the rule book, and my job is to find every way I can cheat this rule book, right? But, whatever, we go to the race, and first 2 races of the year, Fords are kicking ass. They come to the 3rd race. They said, you're taking an inch off your rear wing or something, the rear spoiler. Well, that's bullshit. We don't want to take an inch off. And they said, well, you don't have to race here. You can go race the other championship. Oh, wait, there isn't one. So you can either cut your spoiler, or you can load that fucking thing up and go back to the shop. Right? Like, it's a very good old boy type of mentality, but it's like authority.
Yeah. And why? For the good of racing.
Because their job is to govern it, but their mentality is keeping everything even. We want everybody to race together. Our sport, one of the issues with our sport as far as that is that when you have certain riders that excel, you have very few winners. I'm actually surprised that we've had as many winners this year as we had. It's been really exciting. But it's like having this authority to say, you know what, we're just going to outlaw whole shot devices.
They do have it. They just don't.
So I don't know. It's like having somebody to have the balls to say this was.
That's exactly what it is.
And so, we had briefly sort of chatted. I chimed in on one of your posts about the scoop tires, right?
What's your opinion on it?
So I run a Pirelli MX32 soft. Is what they call the scoop. Performance-wise, when it's sand or mud, is like exceptional. Like and we even have a new tire out. I should say a Pirelli, a new tire that's even a blend between the two yet. But those tires are so aggressive compared to a knobby that in a perfect world, I got the spot. I get to make the decision. I'd say, here's how it's going to be in the rule book. So we go to a race. The official determines it's going to be a dry track today. No scoop tires for anyone. Okay? It rains. The officials say, hey, looks like it's going to rain for second motos. We're going to allow scoop tire. Okay? Then it comes down to the track. Well, the start being so important, you could have a hard pack or mid-soft sort of track, but yet they disc the start up super deep. Dude, when it's fluffy or mud or sand, the tire, it's like it gets on top and just goes. It's so much better. So you're not like, you know, you need it for the start. So you're giving up the entire rest of the race for the first 5 seconds of the race. And all they got to do, not disc the startup, make it resemble the rest of the...
Yeah, but do you know why they do that?
I feel like I do, but I'd love to hear your opinion.
It's just they want to keep the speed down coming into the first turn.
And if somebody goes down, it's softer and blah, blah. Yeah, sure. So,
Hey, I'm fine with it. That makes sense.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But if nobody has a scoop, then nobody has an advantage. But
Jeff
if you
Emig.
allow it...
Jeff Emig.
But if you allow it, then you're going, well, shit, because how many times these guys go, oh, man, like I really didn't want to run it for the track, but I didn't want to give up the performance that it has off of the start. And especially for Supercross, it's a lot of tire. And you think about how much a Supercross track just gets demolished. And the track crew, especially when it's soft, they're trying to keep up with the ruts and all this. Surely a 250 4-stroke is like riding a 252 stroke in my day. And then you've got a 500, let's say, with a huge tire, tons of torque, 65 plus horsepower, whatever they're at right now. No wonder the tracks are hammered. So once again, it's having like the authorities say, hey, look, you know what, today we've decided no scoop tires. Maybe that's what it is. Like that's what I would do in a perfect world. Hey, it's going to rain. All right, let's maybe a scoop tire in the mud. It might be safer, right? But it's crazy when we were filming Moto 90s, our interviews, Jeremy had done his 2 days before me and was leaving as I was getting there, and we actually had both of our championship bikes together for the first time since 96 and 97. Essentially, these two bikes, we did photos and all this sort of stuff. You look at the tires that are on their bikes. Actually, mine was this 862A Bridgestone at the time. It looks like something that's on a fucking trail bike, like a TTR.
God, I'm
my
so
front
glad
tire,
we're having
my
this
front
conversation.
tire looks like a trail tire compared to what everybody uses now. Now, my last part to the tire is the roost, and that tire produces even more roost than your traditional tire. Hard to actually measure it, but
the scoop, you saying?
yeah.
Oh, brother.
So
I can
on
fucking
a
measure
450,
it with my chest,
yeah.
dude.
So you can't. Motocross or Supercross. But so if there's more roost coming off the back of the bike, you got to have more tear-offs, right? You're going like 20 or 30 laminates. You got roll-offs. So the more roost, especially if it's someplace like Farley where it's rock and it hurts like a mofo, right? It's harder to ride behind somebody. When I rode 125 motocross, I didn't even wear a chest protector. You ain't even going out. The same class right now is 250. You ain't riding 250 motocross without a chest pro.
Bro, I won't ride fucking Parla vet track without. So I was riding today with Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay. Yeah, just
Finally got the motherfucker on a big bike, and he's out like. So we took him because he's rode a lot of 110s, right? But he's always, while he was racing, he just couldn't do the big bike thing, right? So then I get him out to Kahia. We went on a Sunday, parked way out the back, and I'm just like towing him into. He's a fucking good rider. Like he jumps shit on a 110. I will not touch. Like legitimately, dude. So but it's just like getting his confidence on the big bike because he hasn't been able to do it. So I'm towing him into all the jumps on the vet track. Leaves there, jumped every single jump on the vet track at Kahia Creek.
Nice.
And then he stayed at my joint, want to go ride. I'm like, we're going to fucking Parla. We're going to the vet track. It'll be way busier. There's way more jumps, but I promise you that you're going to have fun. So anyway, I think we went there I think we rode there Saturday and then we rode there again, or Sunday.
Oh, it would have been busy as shit Saturday. Huh?
Oh, Sunday we rode there. It was pretty busy, and then we rode. It was actually insanely busy. But then we rode there today, and like he gets off the track today, and we're packing up to leave, and he's like, "Bro, how the fuck do they do that?" He said, "A kid on a 60 roosted me, and it made me shake my hands." Oh yeah. But he's just mind blown. He's like, dude, how the fuck do
you have no? And with Pro Motocross and MXGP, like the amount of, I mean, that why do you think guys wear handguards and everything, like full blown, like nose guard on your goggles, like it didn't used to be like that. And you look at like the tire alone is like, I basically raced with what you would have a trail tire on some trail.
Did you have grip?
Well, tracks were pretty hard packed, so naturally you would run more of a tire. Like, basically like the Pirelli Midsoft, the MX32 Midsoft, what is sort of my normal tire now that I just kind of run everywhere. Like, what would be the middle of the road? Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's like I'm running like a MX33 or 34.
34. Yeah. So that, in our day, that was your sand and mud tire.
Yeah. But when I grew up racing, that's what that was.
Yeah. So you see the difference because now the bikes can pull so much more tire, and then there's so much more torque, how the power delivery is, and it just chews everything up. And it's like, motocross is what it is. They prep the tracks more. It's softer. I see the difference. You know, nobody wanted to ride Saddleback and Carlsbad, what it was like in 1982, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty brutal too.
Yeah.
It's completely swung the opposite direction of that. But with Supercross, they can't keep the track together.
Yeah.
And the more soft it gets, the more that then they go, okay, we're gonna run the scoop.
Yeah.
And I would say, limit it, regulate it somehow. You know.
You sound like a fucking Democrat, bro.
Oh, I'm just old.
You're a libtard, bro. You're a libtard. You can't
you got
this
me.
America, bro.
You got me.
That's literally the argument. That's the argument.
Who's argued that?
Bro, I have the most comments of any platform in this sport, I would argue. I doubt that there would be more content being commented on than what we get, right? Mm-hmm. So I see it. I understand the mentality of the fan. Like, I get all of the arguments because we literally get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments every fucking day.
Yeah.
That's the argument that people literally give me. They're like, what the fuck are you, bro? Some fucking commie that doesn't... And I'm like, so you're the same guy that's telling me that it should be open to everybody, bro. Everyone should be able to race Supercross, bro. Privateers are the heart of the sport, bro. And then it's just like, you can't make this rule. You can't do... I'm like, wait. What's going... What the fuck is actually going on here?
You have to govern the sport for the good of that. Hey, you do any fantasy Supercross, motocross?
I
don't want to know about if you any other part of your life you do fantasy, but like
cosplay,
if you're in the furries or whatever, that's your own thing.
Yeah, I got a butt plug that's like a tail.
So, man, I got a group of guys
because I am a media member and I can't bet or do.
On the official ones, no. Right? Yeah. So I do a couple of one of the Rocky Mountain ones for Supercross. I do pulp and stuff with some buddies, and we go ride off-road stuff. Go to our one buddy's garage, have garage beers, and watch qualifying or whatever time of day if it's the right time, right? And do fantasy MX and all that. Dude, I'm horrible. I'm terrible at all that. Like, I'm one of the worst in the league, like every year.
And you're a fucking past
champion. I'm like, do I know too much or I'm right?
Yeah, that's literally my argument. Like, in every sport, they just make rules that it's like, because Dunlop is trying to make the best tire and Honda is trying to make the best bike, and they're all like, okay, let's just go deeper with the start device. Okay, now we can't push it in, so let's get a lever.
The lever thing.
So it's like, okay, do we just let this go to
where... Well, it's like the starting grates, right?
The starting blocks now are
the starting blocks and like the metal starting pads. I saw the argument for that where it's just... it kind of levels the playing field to where one spot's not a better spot than
But
the other.
why are we leveling the playing field? Like in terms of, okay, so my argument against that is, why do qualifying? So why do you qualify? Just what's the answer to that?
Qualify for gate pick. And
why do you want
fastest 40 are in the
Okay, so you got
field.
the fastest 40 that get into the field. That I got a problem with that too, but I'm gonna not ever talk about that in this podcast.
Okay. You want to keep your credential?
Nah, I didn't give a fuck about that. I've just beat the privateer thing to death, so I'm just gonna leave it. Everyone knows my opinion. But so okay, you do qualifying to get the fast 40, and then you do a heat race. Why?
To then set the
gate pick
or qualification for the main event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're then you're going through this all day. You're spending all day to find out who should get the first gate pick for the heat. Why does the first gate pick matter?
I guess it would be a strategy for having the best chance at
the
taking whole shot.
Okay. Yeah. So you qualify to get the first gate pick, right? Because you want to give a guy you want to give the fastest guy who's like, you want to reward his skill and you want to reward the guy that did the thing. Like, we're here to find out who's the best Supercross racer on this track on this night, right? So you take the fastest guy and you go, okay, here's the reward for being the fastest dude. You now get the gate pick. That's important because if you start on the outside, it's not as good. There's like an optimal line to get to the first turn. So then there's also the double-edged sword, right? Where you go, okay, let's take the grates away. Now there's a good rut. There's good dirt. There's an advantage that you should get for being, your skill should be rewarded. That's what sport is. If you're in a team sport, you reward the group who has the most skill at the game. They are the ones that win. You set up the sport to find the guy or the team that has the most skill. So yeah, you give the guy the first gate pick, and then you go, okay, because you got the first gate pick, you now get to choose the best line, the best rut, the best everything. Why the fuck are we limiting all of this? Like, what's the point of qualifying if a dude, like, you get guys like Tom Vial lined up on the very outside of the track at one of the Supercrosses and got the whole shot. So, like, he can just get last in the heat, last in the LCQ, and all.
Well, I would argue that I think that the metal starting pads help with that sort of turnaround of gate drops, that they don't really have to prep much, where if it's or as much, I guess.
Yeah,
I can kind of argue that being an advantage.
I can see the argument.
But yeah, I get your point.
And I think, so then you just have these, like, you have these whole shot devices that are just so low. And have you done a start on the metal grate before?
Yeah, I actually did I jumped on Joey Savacci's bike when we were in Wales.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
And
it was for the
I did a start. I couldn't even let the clutch out all the way because the dirt was super tacky. Yeah. And I hadn't ridden that bike or anything. I just got dressed and they brought it out. And like, I did 2 starts. It was just like
the traction, insane levels of traction. You got that.
I actually probably never actually let the clutch all the way out. It was a short start, whatever. But it had so much horsepower. And the bike was so maybe I didn't. Maybe that's what it was. We couldn't get the start device down. There wasn't anybody around we couldn't get it in far enough.
Yeah. So they have so much traction. You need to put them all the way down. Like, so anyway, it's basically now, like, you see the guys that are, like, you go to Star or something, whole shot device goes down, fucking, they got the perfect map, bang, poof, it's just a rocket. Mm-hmm. And so, like, there's a lot of first turn crashes now. Like, the mile an hour is like way higher into the first turns, and then you've just got less skilled guys. So there's less separation. Way less separation, bro. Way less separation.
I mean, you could argue that for sure that is less safe.
Way less, dude. Like, honestly, we've had some insane. Austin Faulkner did his fucking ACL on a start straight. How's that happen?
It's Austin Forkner, unfortunately.
It's a
Unfortunately, I hate
bad
this.
example.
Well,
Think about A1 last year, Hunter Lawrence's debut. Freeze just runs it in on everybody, cleans out half the field. Hunter goes down. Logan Carnow breaks his leg. Like, it's been chaos in a lot of first corners, and it's because there's just no.
And you could argue that if you just said, "Hey, let's just look at a start. We'll just pick one race a year for the last 20 years, and just visualize like, you're saying everybody's similar. Where maybe back in the day, there'd be some guys that had a shit.
Well, you remember back in the
and
day, you just have guys that would just like immediately cut to the inside because they're just like, I just can't get a good start.
Yeah,
from
I got
here.
18th pick. I'm gonna wait and just go.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. And then whole shot devices, I'm not against those, but there should just be a depth that everyone has to have. Like, what is more fair than making a rule that everybody has to follow? The thing that's unfair is just letting people just go completely wild. I think that there is so much utility. Again, like the starting blocks now. So guys are just balancing on these starting blocks that are exactly the same height as the pegs. Now, there's a real skill. I don't even know if people know this, like that watch Supercross, right? If you can do a start and you've got a balance on your toes, and if you can have your feet back on the pegs before your rear tire leaves the start gate, you have a massive traction advantage over somebody who keeps their feet down. But there is so much skill. You're one of the best starters ever. Yeah. There is so much skill in being able to execute that, right? But so if everybody can start with their feet on the blocks that are the exact same height as their foot pegs, that skill's gone. You've deleted that skill from the field, right? So again, not saying get rid of start blocks, but just have some regulations. Everyone, you get a couple of inches and that's it. And it brings back the skill. A couple of inches on the start device brings back the skill. Keep the fucking grates if you need to keep the grates. Whatever. Yeah. But just right now, you're just doing the most. Everyone's doing everything to just take it away.
Is it so my only argument here, just trying to play devil's advocate, is it stopping, like with these ideas, is it just stopping the development or the evolution in ways?
But do you follow much MotoGP?
Casually.
What bike wins every race?
I'm not sure right now, to be honest with you.
Ducati. And it's
because they got high speed right now again, right?
It's just they have everything. So
like they got the little wings and all that stuff the last few years and all that.
You don't win unless you're on a Ducati.
Ooh.
It's that easy. So I don't think that we want. One of the best things about Supercross, like F1, right? It's McLaren. McLaren win every race now. And it's because they've milked. It's exactly what you said. They've just milked the technology to the point where they've got the best car. And last year the drivers.
Well, in both of those sports, there's very often, either in qualifying or the race results, if it's a 2-car team or a 2-bike team, the teammates finish
1 and 2,
or 5th and 6th, or whatever. It's somewhat common that the car or the motorcycle only has this lap time in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And motocross doesn't have that, and Supercross, and it's never had that. And it's one of the beautiful things about the sport, And so to me, at least, and we're just getting to a point where it's like, okay, there's so many first turn crashes. There's like, that's an issue. And then the tire thing. Like, did you watch Millville Outdoors a couple of weeks ago? How amazing was the track?
Yeah, it was great. It typically is pretty good.
That was fucking amazing. There was no crazy deep ruts. Guys were moving around. Like, Jet was able to come through the pack. Like, but then I've been to Parla, and you would have seen Parla, where it's like they're all running a scoop. The track, there is just like there's
practice is a freaking mud race.
Yeah.
It's so over prepped. We did
and they're running a scoop.
Yeah. And it's basically Fox Raceway would get like 2 lines maybe max. Yeah. That's kind of it.
Well, and so 2023 450 race. What year? Yeah, maybe it was last year. Jet got the whole shot. Chase was in second. And do you think if Jet's in front and you've got a track that has inside, outside, 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 right, do you think that it's possible to pass Jet Lawrence around the outside? If Jet Lawrence just rides every inside line on that track,
yeah, probably
not.
Unlikely, yeah.
So why the fuck are we promoting that? So like, and my point is that the scoops are doing that to the track, a mix of the prep and the scoop, and then you have the riders that, again, he's just like, fuck yeah, I got the whole shot, I got the crazy start, focus so much of my attention on that, and now there's just, if I get to the inside line, there's just no way that Chase Sexton or Hunter Lawrence or Eli Tomac can carry enough mile an hour to pass me around the outside. Yeah. And the race is over. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts, and I am extremely excited to announce that I am now one of the founders and owners of this company. If you remember the podcast with Chris Grenier, he is the host and founder of the Bombhole podcast. He had these as basically just merch for the podcast, and we're like, dude, this is literally an amazing company in of itself. About 18 months later, it is alive, and we are very excited to bring this to you. You'll see a bunch of dudes on the start line of AMA motocross races popping these bad boys. At least for me, I'm taking it before a moto, I'm taking it before jiu-jitsu, I'm taking it before a podcast, in the middle of a podcast, if pop a salt, and I'm getting a mental refresh. Breathing is quite important. We do it a lot. We do it every day. If you don't do it, you're in big trouble. You probably should start doing it. And one of the things that is going to help us breathe right is our new Run Through a Wall nasal strips. These things are unreal. They're lightly scented. They're the perfect scent. They are going to go onto the nostrils. This one's lavender. We also have eucalyptus. I'm using these when I'm training. I'm using these when I'm just sitting at the desk, when I sleep, as much as I possibly can. Nasal breathing is extremely important, and these nasal strips help you do just that. Head to runthroughawall.com, check out the full range. You can get the brick. It's 3-pack of the smelling salts. You can get the nasal strips, and just stay tuned. This is going to be a very fun journey. This is an awesome brand. The ethos behind this brand is extremely fun. It's a great outlet, but it's also products that can definitely improve your quality of life. Head to runthroughawall.com. Stay tuned for more. We're just getting started. Extremely excited to bring you this brand. And remember, run through a wall. Say no to doors. Completely unnecessary.
A lot of the motocross tracks these days, the prep is pretty heavy. You're
and it's all the exact same.
You know, the Loretta's going on right now. I know it's going to be a drier year, but it's like there'll be 8 ruts going around the turn, and so you're just kind of like you're in the slot.
Yep.
And you're not really like, the real talent right now, if you want to excel at motocross, is just riding ruts. Like the whole talent of riding hard pack, dry slick, things like that, from even the 80s or the 90s, like that's gone. Like you don't like cut and square a guy up. Like for the most part, you're just in ruts.
And Supercross, it's
over. The track is really over prepped. I think we both agree on that. I remember a couple of years back at High Point, it was threatened. It was supposed to be raining. It was supposed to rain. It didn't. Year that
was it either
Plessinger had the kick-ass race. Like the track was pretty.
Yeah.
It was fairly flat.
Yeah.
Especially for High Point, and the racing was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the next week they went to Colorado, and they left Colorado fairly flat also.
Yeah.
And it was like, track was pretty good. But back in the days, I mean, I just saw a clip of like Glen Helen 96 or 95 or something. the first lap of the first moto, it was dusty. Like,
Yeah.
and granted, that was too much. But now, like, you'll never see dust.
No.
There is never, dust is like the biggest enemy ever, you know. So for sure, but if they're prepping the tracks like that, and the teams and the tire companies go, oh, well, what's the best thing for this condition? Give me that scoop.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And I just I did at the press conference in Parla last year. So Kitchen, Vial, Deegan on the podium, right? And I just asked all of them, and I was like, would you rather everyone not, like, basically, if we ban the scoop, how stoked would you be? And all three of them said, oh, dude, the scoop was so fucking sketchy, but I had to do it for the start.
Yeah.
If all three of those guys are saying I just don't see the issue with just saying you can run the scoop at Southwick, Millville, and Redbud. That's it.
Or it rains, hey, we're going to allow the scoop.
But why
it's gonna
even
be
if it
motor.
rains? Like, why?
Well, why Southwick then?
Because it's sand.
Okay, but
And
if
it's a
nobody was
sand
allowed
tire.
to use it,
Well,
I mean, I guess that's where the controversy comes in. Like,
Well, I think that you're, as a promoter, like you said it yourself, as a promoter of a race series, you should just be allowed to decide.
it would be super interesting for the fans and everybody, like part of the broadcast. All right, it's threatening rain. It looks like, they got you got your pit reporter out and you've got your analyst and everybody talking about it. Rain's supposed to come in. Oh, they've all right, they're going to allow it.
Yeah.
The teams are switching the rear tires and 5 minutes before the gate drop. It would, like, some of those elements that other motorsports have over the decades have had some like crazy stuff in.
Yeah. No, so I'm glad we agree, because when you sent me the message, I was like, I wonder what even his opinion is on this about.
I didn't really lead it on. I just said have me on, and then
and I was like, fucking sure.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we got the same sentiment, and I honestly think as well that there should be a Supercross tire. There should be a regulation of like knobby height and width, and like literally just the amount of knobs you can have on a tire.
And let the manufacturers develop their construction casing, how they want to shape their knobbies or something ish. Have some creativity to it, but regulate it. Yeah.
Because, man, I've walked a bunch of Supercross tracks after this year, and I was just like, dude, fuck this. Like, honestly, it is so gnarly.
It's so rutted. It's just every race is ruts.
It's so dangerous.
Every race.
Bro.
It doesn't matter where it's at. I mean, I can't recall there being a hard pack track, maybe Glendale or something, but
they all get just destroyed, bro. Like San Diego, walk San Diego. They were doing that big 3-3-4.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the turn before that 3 was fucked.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly fucked. The whoops, dude. How do you do that? How do you write the amount of respect that I have?
Yeah.
Like, dude, Jet and Eli,
that's right.
main event.
Yeah, they had a great race.
Bro.
Dude,
And
you know where I watched that from?
Where?
So I had to go down early. I did race day live for maybe for USMCA, right? I go on for 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And my buddies, Jason, Corey, Jerry, you guys know who you are. So they all like, yeah, we're gonna get tickets and go. So I'm on the track, pass, and then it was like, so we met at like a sports bar. Later on, they drove down. We were staying downtown, gas lamp, doing the whole thing. So I'm like, dude, where's our tickets? You got his tickets? Like, I literally got Monster was like, hey, we might have a ticket for you in the suite. Like, no, I'm going to hang with my buddies. Dude, we were about 6 rows from the top.
That's unreal.
No, like, Jerry got the tickets, so that's why they're up there.
Straight
okay?
nosebleeds.
Okay, so we go up there, like, we're third deck. People like, whoa, bro, what's up? Just grabbing a beer, man. We're heading up. So we're going up, and I see all kinds of people I know and friends I know and all these young people that I know, these twins that some of us dated and stuff, like their kids.
No way.
Yeah, like it's like sitting right in front of us, and like and we had the best time. Like I was broing out with everybody. Like we were betting like on who's gonna hole shot, and dude, upper deck. It was like I could either be on the track or I can be where I'm at, like, but nowhere else in the stadium.
Yeah.
And and it's so good. I think it's just so good for me to experience it that way, because then my perspective is not just from the TV booth or like, the ivory
floor,
tower. Like
the suite.
Man, it was like, and all the people were so sick, and like, hey, do you mind if I get a pic? Yeah, no problem, and just like I said, a bunch of people I knew, people I haven't seen like forever, and just hanging out, and there's and it was just like the real. Oh, it was so fun.
And the reason why I get so fired up is because I just think we have the best sport.
Yeah.
We do. We have the sickest sport. Like the level that these guys are operating on right now is just almost incomprehensible.
Well, and it was interesting when you were talking with Tom from World Supercross, some of the dynamics of the fans and ticket sales and all this sort of stuff, and about like who's these core fans and whatnot is, we just have such real people.
Yeah.
Well,
we have a...
maybe you start doing, double the amount of ticket sales, or we do $1 billion TV package, maybe you start to lose some of that. But is that good or is that bad? But right now it's like, a majority of the people that come to motocross especially, but they're the enthusiasts, right? They're actually participating in the sport.
Yeah, they're participants, yeah.
Yeah, participants too, but it's not so much that, it's like the athletes are super untouchable.
Yeah.
Either, like some Hollywood celebrity that gets, escorted into some place and like you don't see him.
Yeah, we don't have like a Lewis Hamilton type of dude.
Yeah, but even Lewis Hamilton shouldn't, like, he's a race car driver.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's weird in that world.
It's crazy.
It's just, there's so much money, there's a lot that goes into it. And you are right, it's funny, like I definitely do always talk about how I want the sport to be bigger and better, and it's like there probably is
you're going to lose
diminishing
something.
Returns. Yeah.
But at the moment right now, we got like I said, my three buddies that we watch NFL, we watch Supercross, we play fantasy, Supercross, Motocross, garage beers when we get done riding off road, and it's like, man, they're into it. They got everything, and it's really great to have friends like that, and where now I'm kind of just one of the guys,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have no advantage when we play fantasy motocross or fantasy supercross. I got nothing. I get my ass whipped every week. But I'm the guy that goes on there is like, okay, I'm not fucking around with you guys anymore. I've been playing with you.
Yeah.
Now this week I turned my team on.
Yeah.
And y'all are fighting for second.
Yeah.
Dude, and it'll be like I got the guy. I think I actually feel like I got the team, and then the bike breaks or the guy crashed in the first turn or something, and I got nothing. I don't know anything.
Yeah, it's hard to predict Supercross. Like you would think that it's easier than it is, but it's pretty fucking hard to get it right.
Yeah, it's good though. I will say, like I mentioned this a few minutes ago, that I didn't think we'd have as many winners that we did this year across the board, either class, division. The fact that Deegan didn't win every race, I was like, well, this is a little odd. And just so many kids got a nugget in there, and the 450 class was uber competitive. But I will say, I watch it now and I just go, man, I'm so glad I'm done.
Really?
It's gnarly. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What makes it gnarly now in your opinion compared to when you were racing?
Well, like the type of, especially let's just talk about Supercross, the track design and what the motorcycles will do. Dude, they jump some quads and stuff, and it's like, we were like a blend of motocross. Now Supercross is purely its thing. But then you talk about the significance of pro motocross. You watch some of the tracks, especially how fast some of the tracks are, which I wish the tracks were slower. But, you know, I'm not out there, whatever. But it's like we talked about the roost, the speed, the ruts. Like, it's so maybe because I have a better understanding of how difficult it is of what these athletes are doing because of my history than maybe, like, let's say you would, even though you're like in the industry full on, but like,
oh yeah, you've lived it to,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, to
it's
the
like,
degree.
You watch what they're doing, and you're just like, this is nuts. It's so hard to do what they're doing, and you know, the best guys always make it look easy, like it's nothing, and it's purely not.
Yeah.
And to get yourself into that position, I mean, I guess I can relate to that. I have experience of that level of racing and dedication and all that. And that's kind of another thing too, that throughout my career, is that you start to respect all of the other sports or whatever it is, because you know what the championship formula is and what that is, and you go, oh, you know, whatever the sport is, he may be on a skateboard, but that dude had to work his ass off to get to where he's at, right? You know that. Yeah. The formula for it. So.
Yeah. There's no like secret pill that dude took that made him a champion. Like, there's just a lot of graft that goes into it.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't think that it was harder back then in any way? Like, are these dudes just like what these guys have to go through? I mean, even 31 races. Like, did you ever race 31 races professionally in a season?
Yeah, I mean, not in a season, but we would go do, you know, races in Europe and whatever money races we could do and go make some start money here and there. Sure. I mean, we did quite a few races.
But not like a 31 round domestic series.
No.
Like that's even that to me is just a crazy level of,
because it's all kind of built into the SMX championship, and you know, you kind of got to ride this to get the points to get to there, to where, you know, the $1 million and things like that are on the line. I mean, they've definitely structured it to sort of keep these riders engaged throughout the year.
I don't think it's worked in that sense though, right? Like, AP's out, Coop's out. I knew what, this is no shade at Coop at all when I say this. I knew unequivocally that he would not do every round of motocross.
No. Well, because when you exert so much of your focus and your energy, and you have to dig so deep to lay it on the line to win that title, like, you're toast after that. Like, you're just
100%.
like... And because that was one of those championships that was really grueling and difficult. And some of these, like Dungey, when he retired, like winning that last Supercross title, he was like, I've laid it all out there.
Yeah, I'm empty.
Empty, essentially. And it's like, you give a shit about motocross at that point, because you're like, this was the ultimate goal here, right? But like when I won the Supercross title in 97, it got a little dicey towards the end, but I was totally ready to go for pro motocross right after that. And I was just like on cruise control for 2 or 3 months, you know, and then that's like when you get into this place where, okay, yeah, I think I'll just, you know, you're going to win them both in 1 year. But like the way that Webb won his last 2 titles, like that was it. Like, I mean, how's he going to reach? Because you're so focused on only Supercross. Was he doing any motocross testing or riding or preparing? Hell no. Not one bit, right? So, but if you're in that place where you're kind of cruising through the championship and you got this thing on lock, you got time to go prepare yourself for the motocross championship that's going to start in a month or 2. But in that point, it's like, nope, everything else gets cut out.
Dude,
only goal.
He cut out like Yamaha shit, like for all the, you know, all of the contractual Yamaha things that you've got to do. And Yamaha's like, we get it.
Which is rare, but yeah, that's...
Do your thing. Like, even Yamaha, he's purely paid to sell Yamahas and to be a promotional vehicle for Yamaha. There was a bunch of shit that they, like, had to do, and they were just
dealer
like...
shows
they were like,
and different
Don't
things.
worry about it. Do your thing. Yeah. Just do your thing. Like, imagine the pressure cooker of that situation. Like, that, I think... that shows the level that the sport has gotten to when your manufacturer is letting you off the hook for obligations that are extremely important to them so that you can go and win that title. Like, that speaks to how hard it is.
I mean, in our sport, that's the ultimate championship. That's the ultimate crown that you can take. And it was a grueling championship. It was really exciting for everyone. And, you want it to be like that every year. You don't want somebody to have a runaway, type of thing. But the most important thing at that point is that you go win that title. And nothing else matters. And it's such a great place to be in, where it's just like, you don't care
locked in, dude.
Yeah. And then to achieve it again, and it was his third, so he's putting himself into some pretty rare air as far as the number of titles go, really separated himself again.
A Hall of Famer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, full-blown Hall of Fame
Well,
career.
I got one Supercross title, I'm in the Hall of Fame, so I think he was already in, but
yeah. But you're right. Like, to win 3 is something like Tomac hasn't done it. Chad Reed hasn't done it. James Stewart hasn't done it. Like, dude, they're great.
I mean, the fact that James Stewart didn't win at least 5.
345 championships.
Baffling. It was interesting to be on the race call for a good amount of those when
True
it's like
way.
he was just certain nights you're like, dude, this is the fastest rider I've ever seen. He would just do things, and I've said this before, but it was like him and early Damon Bradshaw, they would just do things on the bike that almost seemed like they were just different. And obviously there's every now and then we get a clip come through social media of James at Toronto that one year and different things like that, where it's like just different. Ricky won a shit ton of pro motocrosses, but James would do certain things on the bike, his skill level or whatever, that was just like like he wasn't even human.
It was like gravity doesn't apply to him in the same way that it applies to everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like he had a bit of a hack.
Which, well, sometimes gravity applied to him more.
Yeah, very true.
Do you remember the Vegas when he was on the 125 and he over the finish line jump, and then like just
that was before they fucking ripped tracks and made him soft too. That shit was
it was brutal.
concrete, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean I was there for part of him on the broadcast booth, but man, seeing the guy hit the mat pretty hard at times. I don't think I was on the broadcast for the Unadilla crash with him and Ricky, but man, he just like smacked, and that stuff just starts to take its toll. But that's, it's part of it when you want to have longevity and championships and stuff. You have to stay healthy. It's all part of what's required. But when it comes to riding a motorcycle fast, there really was nobody like him.
You didn't have to race a carbureted 450, did you?
No. No, my last pro race was in Germany, November 30th, 99. And then I did my wrist, and then 4 months later, my back and leg. So, yeah. But, yeah, that wasn't – I mean, I was around during that time, but I was with Cowie.
Yeah.
I rode a carbureted 450 in like 06 or so probably.
What race would that have been?
No,
or
amateur,
just
amateur stuff. Yeah.
Dude, that's like an underrated, scary era of the sport. Like, I don't think it gets enough credit.
Oh,
right?
Like the hiccup that it would have, and just the pops and weird. Yeah.
Like, so I think a lot of the issues that James was having, like, I think about some of those, like High Point. Remember when he went over the bars at High Point? Him and Ricky having a crazy, but it was like 06, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then like the step down.
Oh yeah, they both crashed together.
No, I think just James. Just James went over the bars and like heavily over the bars. And like I wonder how many of James's crashes were just like being limited by the motorcycle and just some of the weirdness that was happening, because that is gone on today's motorcycles.
Yeah, motorcycles are pretty...
It's unbelievable.
They're pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, once the fuel injection to a 4-stroke, it just made it so connected to the rear tire, like the feeling that we would try to get out of our our two-stroke engines, our factory engines, is like this term we use called being connected.
Yeah.
Right, where it's not just revving, but it's actually moving.
Yeah.
I mean that's why I ride a 350 Husky now. I don't even want to ride a 450. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too connected. It's just so quick.
Yeah.
It's like, no, my bike's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No, I think a lot of the James stuff was just like he was just on a, compared to today's standards, like a very inferior motorcycle.
Well, and riding the 252 stroke, riding the 125, and then the 252 stroke that he had to in the beginning of his career, you could argue that was a bit of a disadvantage. I actually helped test those motorcycles for the race team. Yeah. His 125, I put a ton of time in with Rick Ash and the guys at Cowie. The bike was so good, but it.
Did you ride the 250?
Some, I believe.
Apparently that thing was, well, James will tell you that was the most scary motorcycle he's ever ridden.
Yeah.
Because they had to try and make it so fast. It was just like a light switch, just on, off, on, off.
Yeah, but, the rideability of the bikes compared to what the four-strokes were starting to do, Yeah, but, I mean, I remember the first year that the guys were going to ride four-strokes in Supercross, and I was like, these things are so powerful. They're going to be, they're going to be kind of, they're going to have to go easy on it. And it was like they're just bombing it, like straight away. It's like, well, so much for that.
There goes that.
That was like riding a 500 two-stroke in Supercross, and they're just like, raw.
Dude, it's wild, eh?
What's that? Okay, I got to get home for dinner soon, but let's swap comments here. So what do you think is one of your all-time favorite motocross, Supercross races that you attended?
That I attended?
Yeah.
Atlanta, 2012.
That was the James and Chad?
I thought that stadium was going to fall down.
It was, we had like 70,000 that night too. Like
it was packed, bro. That was one of the best weekends of my life. They did, Webb used to do their party, Webb DMSX party.
DMXS,
party.
Those are my guys.
Bro, I just was rolling around, Aussie accent, had my pick of the girls at the bar that night. I took home a little Southern Belle, hung out with her all weekend. The race was incredible. Just hung over the entire weekend. I lived my best life that weekend. And the race
was race,
absolutely phenomenal. So that one springs to mind.
I mean, and then was great. Like the final turn was like Villapoto and Dungy was in there. It's like you think about what in that
4 dudes.
4 which were all champions, right? Multi-time champions even at that.
Yeah.
And it was just such chaos.
And I was standing basically on the outside of that turn. I think there was like one lane in between me and that turn from memory.
Oh, yeah?
So I was like 10, 15 feet away, dude. And like the fucking stadium erupted, dude. Like I legitimately thought that place was going to fall over.
Yeah, and there's nights when we're doing the broadcast and right away the race has gone away. That's when you got to work for it. You're looking at your timing and scoring. You're coming up with something interesting. You've got your stats and, they're giving you stats and you're trying to keep the energy up. And it's like, he's only 6 seconds behind him. The guy's not going to, like, this race is over.
Yeah, it's over, yeah.
And you still got 20 minutes to go. But that's one of those nights that being in the broadcast booth, especially with Ralph and Ricky that night, is like we're just so reactive. And our chemistry that we had together, the three of us, and Ralph's race call, just so sharp and just so on point. And we're, everyone's firing. Like, it was so fun, like doing the job on those nights. So fun.
What was yours?
The night that just keeps coming to mind was when Reed was on Kawasaki and he wins one of the races at Anaheim. He kind of quietly comes through the pack and passes James for the lead. Like, we didn't expect him to have it. He was one of those guys that Reed was one of those guys that he'd kind of be having a crappy night. And then all of a sudden in the main event, he just comes alive.
Yeah, 6 laps in, he's just the man.
And so we're at Angel Stadium, and it's a baseball stadium, so it's open air booth. and Ricky's on the left. I'm pretty sure Ricky was there that night, and Ralph's in the center, and I'm on the right. And we're standing up, and we're calling the race on the monitor, but you can see the track also. And at this point, it's like, well, you're supposed to watch the monitor, but at this point, we know what's going on. And I'm literally standing up, and I'm doing this on the table, and Bondo, our producer's like, "What's that? What's that noise? What's that hammering?" "Oh, sorry, Bondo, that was me, man." We're just like super hyped, and we're just screaming, and man, it's so much fun to be involved in the broadcast.
What year was that? I want to go watch that race.
14, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
2014. I think it was the second Anaheim in 2014, but and it's just, once again, you've got like two of these great champions, and then like kind of came out of nowhere, and just that night, he kind of like passed a bunch of guys all at once, and he was leading. You're like, what?
Yeah, dude. San Diego this year as well is up there for me.
Yeah. It's being a part of those broadcasts, and at a certain point, it's like we're just three guys on the couch, and we're now reacting to it, and it's so fun. I love it. So dude, hopefully I get to keep going with someone, and someone will hire me for the analyst position. We'll see.
Man, Supercross Companion next year.
What's that?
Have you ever seen the Supercross Companions that we do? Oh, we literally sit here. This is us for Supercross. Just sitting there watching on the TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just stream it. It's unreal,
dude.
It's the best time, bro.
How about the AI stuff that's out now with all the old race calls, and it's all like the full cursing and everything?
Oh, bro. How
so many of my friends are like, I would pay a subscription if that was the broadcast.
Dude,
right?
That was unreal. I was like, they kind of got it good too, whoever did that.
It sounds like
Ricky.
It's not the exact dialect that we would use, and it's
Dylan Ferrandis just fucked him up.
Could you imagine? Totally unprofessional, but it would have its place.
That's pretty much what we do with Supercross Companion. Right. We just sit here and just absolutely.
I'll jump on Companion if I get an invite.
Yeah. Dude, we'll wrap this thing up, but bro, hey, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for messaging me. Thanks for reaching out today. Like, legitimately, I don't really ever say it that much, but like, I fucking love my life because of days like today. I went this morning. I rode parlor with my friend. I raced home. I washed my bikes because my dad ingrained that in me that you never leave a bike dirty. So I'm fucking. That's why I text you while I'm like on the pressure washer on my driveway. Dude, there's fucking shit everywhere.
Oh man.
And get that done. Roll to the studio. Talk to one of the legends of the sport that I love so much. So just thank you for letting me do my job the way that I do it. I fucking love my job. I appreciate you. So
I appreciate you having mine. And don't forget, you got to go home and try to make a baby tonight too.
Dude, I can't tonight. My wife's on holidays. I know.
It was almost
99%
perfect day.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching and listening. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone that listens. I don't say it often enough, but I love my job, and thank you very much for being a part of it.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.